top 8.
Good evening, curling fans, and welcome back to the first Adelboden International WCT Men's Tour event. We are at the business end of this competition here on Saturday evening. We are at the quarter-final stage, so from here on, it's do or die. No more second chances. The format is over, and it's playoff point from here on in. And we have 4 super games to look forward to this evening. Our featured game here is Netherlands team from Jaap van Dorp, and they are playing the Swiss team of Yannick Schwaller. That's our featured game here on rink 2. On rink number 1, we have the unbeaten team of Joe Returnas from Italy, and they are playing another Swiss team, Hösli. On rink 3, we have Silvana Tirenzoni, the ladies' current world champions, still going strong, and they are having a bit of a rematch there against Team Todzek. They've already met them in this competition. And on sheet 4, we have an all-Swiss affair. It's Peter de Cruz, the other unbeaten team in this competition, and they are up against Jan Hess. So 4 great games to look forward to this evening. Our featured game here, Van Dorp from Netherlands against Yannick Schwaller from Switzerland, but we will definitely be keeping eyes on all of the other games going on as well. So my name is Lorna Rettig, and I will again be chatting us through our featured game here. So let us all take a seat in our remote, in our remote curling club. Let us all take a seat here in the club area and offer our thoughts and wisdom on the game that we're watching. Plenty to talk about. If you want to just say hi, if you want to offer thoughts on the game, if you have any questions, feel welcome to get in touch. We're glad to have all of you joining us. And what could be better than 4 games of world-class curling on a Saturday evening? You join us in the first end here of this quarter-final. You can see that Yannick Schwaller's team have hammer. The last shot draw was done after their previous games, and Schwaller's must have been the better. So Van Dorp's team, again, starting out aggressively. They always play aggressively, this team. Not afraid to have stones in play. That really works for them. And for me, this is definitely the most intriguing matchup, I think. We've got 4 really fun matchups, but yeah, for me, I think this is the most difficult to call in terms of who's on form, who's likely to triumph in this one. So, as we said, no second chances anymore. This is it. It's win or bust from here on. We already have some of our super fans in the chat. Good evening to Jez from Sheffield. And Michaela, who never seems to need to sleep. And Kent from New Jersey. If you want to say hi, then feel welcome to reach out. Or if you have a question or a comment, we are surely glad to hear from you.
Back 4. Clean. Back 8. Close for line.
Now this matchup, Van Dorp against Schwaller. This matchup happened a couple of weeks ago in the Baden Masters, and it was Van Dorp that triumphed that time. Van Dorp's team went unbeaten to the final at the Baden Masters, and they only lost in that final to world and European champion Niklas Edin. Van Dorp's team clearly in excellent form. They've been really grinding and working hard for 3 or 4 years now with their coach Shari Lebrant. I mean, maybe don't think of them as a kind of flashy team or fancy team or something, but goodness me, they keep on winning. They just keep on popping up in semi-finals and finals of big competitions. Their style of play really works for them. But I'm sure Yannick Schwaller will be looking for some revenge after their defeat by Van Dorp's team a couple of weeks ago in Baden. So there's a very intriguing lineup for me. I would not be surprised if this one goes to the last stone. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye on all the other games going on as well. Everybody in their first end at this quarter-final stage of the competition. And I know we have a lot of Timonzoni fans out there as well. A lot of support for her team in this competition. So they're facing Team Totzek. It was Timonzoni that won that game yesterday. Totzek will be looking for revenge, but I don't think Sylvana's team will be letting them away with that so easily. Back in our feature game, a mistake there from Jaap van Dorp. Normally really reliable at those little raised takeouts, but just over-curled for them. And Schwaller with last shot on yellow stones. Looking a little bit dangerous for yellow right now. And you may be wondering, if you're maybe joining us for the first time, you may be wondering if your eyes are deceiving you. You can just see Esther Neuenschwander from Sylvana Timonzoni's team just to the right of our picture. And no, you are quite right. That is Sylvana Timonzoni's team, the current Ladies World Champions. How they came to be in this competition is a silver lining from coronavirus and travel restrictions. This is the first edition of the Adelboden International WCT men's tour event, and several other teams wanted to play. They were ready to play, but of course coronavirus restrictions and government travel restrictions, that takes priority over everything. And finally a few teams were not able to travel, and the organisers said to themselves, we would really like a 16th team to fill up the roster here for our triple knockout. Who could we ask as a last-minute world-class team to fill up the 16th place for the triple knockout? And how exciting. Sylvana Timonzoni's team said, sure, that sounds like a good competition for us as well. We will come. And I know a lot of fans out there really cheering on that decision from Sylvana's team. Great to see them here. That takes good courage to put themselves out there against all these men's teams. And I know a lot of support for Sylvana's team. A lot of folks really happy to see them doing so strongly in this competition. That's why they're the world champions. There on the next rink there, you can just see the name at the edge of your screen. They are playing the team of Totzek from Germany. As we said, they played already yesterday. That can happen in this format of a competition. You can meet the same team again later on. And it was Timonzoni's team who ran out winners in an intriguing extra end. I would recommend having a little look at, sorry, not the extra end, in the final end, in the 8th end. I would recommend having a look at that 8th end between Timonzoni and Totzek yesterday, if you haven't seen it. Definitely lessons to learn for Team Totzek, I would say. Let's see if they have thought and reflected on that game yesterday, and maybe they have some different approaches to try and get a win from the Timonzoni team this evening. Let's see. But indeed, a lot of Timonzoni fans out there who would love to see that team progress to the semi-finals here in this competition. Semi-finals at 9 o'clock European tomorrow morning. Back to our featured game, and Netherlands in a little bit of trouble in this first end. Schwaller has last shot. They're playing yellow stones, so this needs to be good. And it's a great effort from wct-international. Sorry, Wouter. I even asked their coach, Sherry Lebrant, how do I say Wouter's name properly? Nice effort. I think Yannick Schwaller can see about half of that red. But you can see he's not throwing a big weight at it. The closer to the stone, or closer to the target area the brush is, the faster the stone will be coming, because the less it will curl. You can see that Michael Brunner's brush is a little way away from that red stone. Looks like Yannick Schwaller will be throwing a fairly gentle weight towards that red, and he'll just want to bump that red through. Doesn't need to play a big weight here. Important is that this yellow that he's throwing, important is that hangs around as well. This looks pretty nice. Yep, a really nice look. He just poked that red out, but that does give Wouter a second chance at that hit and roll. He just tried it, so they will have learned from the line and the weight of his first shot. 2 stones still to come, one from Netherlands, one from Switzerland in this quarter-final. I think yellow looks, from my angle, they're lying at least 2 definitely, and I think they may be lying 3. And for the sake of a good game, let's hope that Wouter can pull out a really nice shot here. He's been doing it all weekend and season after season now for this team. And he's got a lot of space to roll to, actually. He can afford to roll a metre or a metre and a half, and there's plenty to hide behind. Controlled take-out weight then. Clean's always a happy shout. That typically means that line looks nice. Yep, a little bit sweeping just to get that roll. Nice effort from Wouter. That overrolled slightly, but important is that that red's hanging around. It's cancelled out that back yellow.
Dat is helemaal goed, Kel. Ja, maar dit is goede lengte. Die lijn, goede marge. Ja. Hij popt deze net.
Actually, I may have miscounted. There may be an additional stone coming for each team. So this may be Yannick Schwaller's first throw in this first end, actually.
Dat zal hij tegen die gasten zijn. Kijk, is het ideaal? Zeker niet.
And let's do our hog-to-hog time. Remember, that tells us, gives us an overall picture of how fast the ice is running. And it looked like Schwaller's team are going for just in front of T-line. They're calling it, they reckon it is about T-line. The hog-to-hog says about 15.6 almost, so I think that's going to drop short. Indeed it does. That doesn't even find the rings. Oh, that was last shot. We did count correctly after all. A mistake there from Schwaller, then they will be annoyed about that. All they had to do was sink it into the 8 foot. Normally that would be a nice easy shot for Schwaller. They'll be annoyed that they missed that opportunity. And in contrast, you will see Netherlands happy that they managed to keep that score to 1. So let's say hello to the teams. These are our 2 quarter-finalist teams here this evening. The Netherlands team. 4th thrower is Wouter Gooskens. Hopefully my Dutch pronunciation is getting better. 3rd and skip is Jaap van Dorp. 2nd thrower Laurens Hoekman. And lead thrower Carlo Glasbergen. They are coached by Sherry Lebrant, who is here keeping eyes on their game. And the familiar faces also of Team Schwaller. 4th and skip is Yannick Schwaller. 3rd, Michael Brunner. 2nd, Romano Meyer. And lead Marcel Kuifela. They are coached by Bernhard Wertemann. As we said, really intriguing lineup, this one. Score of 1 to Schwaller there in the first end. And Hammer reverts to the Netherlands team. And the other games are also on their second end, so we can have a quick look at what's going on across the other games. Remember, all of these are quarterfinals now. We're at the knockout stage, the playoff stage of the competition. These are the 8 top teams in this competition this weekend. And on rink 1, we have Team Returnas from Italy versus Team Hüsli from Switzerland. Team Returnas, one of the 2 unbeaten teams to qualify for the quarterfinals. But Team Hüsli got a steal of 1 there in the first end. So their score is 1-0 to Team Hüsli. On the third rink, rink 3, we have Tyrensoni playing Totzak. And that was a score of 1 to Tyrensoni with the hammer in the first end, so 1-0 to Tyrensoni. And over on rink 4, we have Peter de Cruz versus Jan Hess, an all-Swiss affair. And de Cruz's team picked up a 2 with hammer in that first end, so 2-0 to Peter de Cruz. De Cruz, the other unbeaten team in these quarterfinals.
Is oké, hij is ervoor.
Graag goed, van 8. Michi. Alder.
4-0, 4-0, 5.
Van de 4. Immer Michi, diese 4. Hemmert. Achtung, nicht verschlafen.
Ja, ik had 14.
Kan je dat? Nee, moest niet. Moest niet.
Now for Team Hüsli, so they're on rink 1 against Joe Returnas' well-known Italian team. The Hüsli outfit, they have a lot of success at junior curling. All of them still quite a young team, all early 20s, but they've been playing together for a few seasons now and really starting to hit their stride and make the knockout stages in these competitions. Now, this is Team Hüsli's 4th game today. They started off at 8 o'clock this morning playing Van Dorp's team that we're looking at just now. They lost to Van Dorp's team this morning. They went straight on again against Team Van Gerter. They won that game. And then, after a little bit of a pause over the afternoon, they had their qualification game against Daniel Magnusson. That was also went to the last end there, and they won that as well. So goodness me, the Hüsli team took the long way to get here. This is their 4th game today, and this is Joe Returnas' team. It's their 4th game of the whole weekend. Energy levels could therefore come into play a little bit in that game, but congratulations already to Team Hüsli for toughing that out. Early start this morning, 3 games in a row to get here, and now playing their 4th game for the Saturday. Let's hope they've still got good energy to give Joe Returnas' team a strong game out here. Joe Returnas' team, the current bronze medal holders from European Championships. And Yannick Schwaller's team, the silver medal holders. And of course, Silvana Tyrensoni's team, the current world champions. Peter de Cruz's team have all kinds of honours as well. They're the current bronze medal winners from Olympics. All kinds of great pedigrees out there on the ice. That's what we'd expect at this stage in the competition. I would also expect this session to be quite loud. And indeed quite a lot of noise out there.
Zo. Was het een beetje? Zeker proberen. Zal het Kluws eerst in dat papier? Oké. Goed. Goed gespeeld.
Jo.
Strong end so far here in the second end from Yannick Schwaller's team. Really nicely set up.
Check. Yep.
And Netherlands second player, Laurent Hoekman.
Yep.
Just trying to follow that stone in.
Yep. Yep.
Coming in with a bit of pace, so trying to push that yellow out of play by the look of it as well.
Yep.
And get a little roll over.
Ja, hij is gewoon een beetje zo.
Nice try from Laurent Hoekman.
Dit is 11-8,
So
maar
he
je
moved
moet gewoon
that
minimaal 11,5
dangerous
hebben
yellow
voor
off the centre
denk ik.
line.
Dit
So that does give Schwaller the chance now to hit and roll back in towards the centre.
Het kan allebei.
Oh, Super Fox is in the chat.
Tussen de 11 en de 11,5.
Shout out to him in Bulgaria. I do owe you a reply. I will get back to you, I promise. But thank you for saying hi. If you want to join in the chat, we're always glad to hear from you. A little bit of a half shot there from Yannick Schwaller's team, but it's worked out okay for them. That yellow hanging on there at the right of our screen, that could be important later. But Van Dorp's team have last stone in this second end. Looks like they're going to just stay away from all of that clutter, and they're going to draw to the other side of the house and pull the game over there. Van Dorp's team we watched a couple of weeks ago also in Baden. They went unbeaten to the final, and they lost there to Nicolas Edin's World and European champions, so not a bad weekend's work for Team Van Dorp, I would think. Not my mistake, they're actually drawing behind cover, which does make more sense actually. You want to use those corner guards that they've thrown up. Lovely throw there from Jaap van Dorp, look at that. Tucked right in behind the corner guards there. Definitely a chance at this raised takeout though, to drive that red guard just at Yannick Schwaller's brush, drive that back onto the red in the house, remove everything. And Michael Brunner's been pulling these off all day. He'll be feeling confident. That looks like it's hanging out though. He got a bit of a redirect, but it didn't help him. And that's the half shot, the mistake that Netherlands were looking for. And now Walter Guskens says, okay, let's split the house, get separation between those reds, make it hard for Schwaller to do a double takeout. Big hitting team, Yannick Schwaller's team. They're not afraid of these raised takeouts and across the house doubles. But this is exactly the game that keeps getting Netherlands team into semis and into finals in these big competitions. They're never afraid to draw, they're never afraid to play the aggressive shot. This looks nice again from Jaap van Dorp. It's maybe running a little bit longer, but that's being a little bit picky. So yeah, you can see there is an across the house double, but it's a massive one. So I think looks like Yannick Schwaller saying, I'll be quite happy with the hit and roll. Let's remove the front stone to always give yourself a chance at a double, and he would love to just roll in behind that centre guard. It's only the second end, no need for heroics at this point. Netherlands with the last shot in this second end. You can see 4 stones to come, including this one. First shot from fourth and skip Yannick Schwaller. Looking for the hit and roll. He's definitely got the hit. It's great effort at the roll. You can see how difficult it is to be really accurate with a roll. It's really millimeters either side of hitting that stone. Means you either get the roll perfectly or it just pops out the other side, like we can see. I reckon the Netherlands can see most of that shot. And from the position of Jaap van Dorp's brush, looks like, yeah, they're playing kind of hack weight. Gentle take out. He wants to move that yellow out of play. And then now he would really like to get a roll behind that centre guard. If you're just joining us, welcome to the quarter-final stage of the first Adelboden International WCT Men's Tour. We've had some great games to watch already this weekend.
Close.
We're now at the business end of this competition. These are the 28 teams still left in the competition. Wouter going for the hit and roll. Makes it perfectly. Look at that. Great shot, Wouter. And just that really precise game is what's winning Netherlands. All of these games are very precise with their T-weights and their controlled takeouts. Getting great result after great result. As we said at the beginning, these two teams met a couple of weeks ago at the Baden Masters, the first of the European WCT events, and it was Van Dorp's team that won on that occasion. Schwaller will be looking for revenge this time, I'm sure, and Van Dorp's team will be looking to consolidate that win. Okay.
Ja. Wil je in of de out? Kies maar. Ja, even denken, welke hebben we al gegooid? Die in hebben we iets meer gegooid, denk ik.
Yannick Schwaller removes that second counter.
Maar zij hebben in ieder geval dit paadje gegooid.
Can't get a roll towards the centre there.
Zij hadden uiteindelijk dit voor de draw.
Wouter has a couple of options here. He could play a similar shot to Yannick Schwaller, probably slower weight, and just hit and stick. Or he could play the draw, which is what Jaap van Dorp is signaling. And this is very much what you're comfortable with. There's no right or wrong here. Wouter's typically very strong at drawing, so it makes sense that he prefers the draw here. He's got plenty of space. He's going to stay well away from that centre guard. Last rock in this second end. They'll be delighted with this chance at getting a 2 points straight back. Needs to be fully 8 foot this stone, so fully in the white circle.
Gaat niks mee. Gaat misschien veel curlen. Oké. Easy. Waar? Komt-ie.
The sweepers are standing back off it a little bit, but looks not too bad.
Make sure.
Yeah, let's make sure. Keep it
Hard
clean.
push. Hard
Don't want it finding a little piece of frost or stopping. Yeah, no mistake there from Wouter. So really nicely worked. 2 points there for the team from Netherlands. After 2 ends then, the score is 2-1 to Van Dorp versus Yannick Schwaller. And Netherlands team, they do enjoy their team chats. Everybody always very involved, and I know I sort of make a little joke about it, but it works for them. Good communication in that team, that's really important. They'll be deciding what they want to try to do in this third end. Do they want to try to steal the end? Do they want to try to force Schwaller to score perhaps 1 point? Everyone's aligned. Off we go.
Ja, eigenlijk richt ik het kennen nou dat zo richtig afbreidje.
Normaal met extensie doe ik een 10 erbij, denk ik.
Wat voor afbreidje? Ik vind het voor mij is het zo richtig afbreidje.
At this quarter-final stage of the competition here in Adelboden, it's do or die now, no second chance. The winners of These games will go on to the semi-finals. The 4 winners will be our 4 teams qualifying for the semi-finals, and the 4 losers of these games, they can have a beer after the game. And their competition will stop there, but all of the quarter-final teams who have made it here, all of them will pick up a nice prize of 300 francs. So that's basically their entry money for the competition back again. So all of these teams have had a cost-even weekend so far. And if you make it to the semi-final, the prize is 500 francs. If you make it to the final, the prize is 800 francs, and the winners will receive a prize of 1,200 Swiss francs. And that gives us a nice opportunity to say thank you to the sponsors of this first Adelboden International event. So we say big thank you to De Gelbe, Gemeinde Adelboden, Graf Erik AG, and Alpenblick Adelboden. Big thank you to the sponsors. You can see we've attracted all the big names here. All the big Swiss names are here, and many teams have travelled to be here. Not all teams are able to travel due to coronavirus restrictions, but yeah, really a world-class field here. Many thanks to our sponsors for making that possible. I'm just waiting for the other games to finish their second end, and then we can update. It's Tirensoni and Totzek who are being the slowpokes in this second end. The German team Totzek, still quite a young team. Maybe the kind of team who isn't sure what to do if there's not a big hit on offer. Bright start here in the third end then from Netherlands. They're happy to keep up with the aggressive game, stones in play. And that's a nice reply from Marcel Keufler from Yannick Schwaller's team. That yellow's really safely in there. You're not getting rid of that easily. That's what they want. So let's take a look at the hog-to-hog time.
Easy line. Okay, Carlo.
Top 12.
Yep, go on, Carlo.
Just front of house, we would expect maybe 14.5.
Yep,
something like that.
Yep.
That's 15.5, so I don't think that's going to reach the house. It should stop just short. Or maybe just touching the rings, but yeah, just short there. The ice playing very quickly by the look of it. I think the ice conditions, at least from our lookout, the ice conditions look like they've been very nice and fast, nice and swingy. That's what we like.
Huh? Yeah.
You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stones in play. The free guard zone is over, and Schwaller can now begin hitting those guards. Schwaller has last shot in this third end. Those centre guards are not really helping him. And I think he will be asking Romana Meyer to remove them. Michael Brunner just coming up to take a look as well. They're maybe looking at the angles to see if they can remove both of them at once.
Ik vind het eigenlijk nog oké. Zo.
Roos die ziet hem.
Ja.
Wat? Zie
Ja, weet je maar.
Ja.
Vind je het goed? Je gaat nu met kleertjes fouten jetzt. Ja. We kunnen nachher voor de
Ik denk daarom dat hij ook net die hits al gezien wordt. Ja.
Versplitsen is oké.
Ja, Unie.
Is goed.
While they're having a bit of a team powwow, I will go over the other scores. I'm not quite sure what's taking Tirensoni and Totzek so long to decide the second end. But on rink 1, we have Joe Returnaz's team from Italy playing Husli rink from Switzerland. That's 1 each after 2 ends. over on sheet 4. That's Peter de Cruz playing Jan Hess,
En de pillen.
all Swiss affair.
Ja, ik denk terugleggen, maar dan
And
gewoon iets
that's
hoger.
2 each
Ja,
after 2 ends, and they have now put the score up on rink 3.
hoog 2.
Tenitsoni versus Tutzik, and that's a score of 1 each.
Net crosscenter.
As we would expect, all of these games pretty tight.
Goed is, bijna hele weg geveegd.
Everyone in their third end now then. And still looking pretty nice there for Team Van Dorp.
Ik heb hetzelfde.
As we said, this aggressive style really suits them.
Ook nog Kerle. Carlo. Carlo. Clean hem. Dan kult hij.
Now that we've moved to the 5 rock free guard zone instead of 4 rock,
Moet de buitenkant guarden.
the whole idea behind that was to keep the game more aggressive, keep more stones in play.
3. Hij is ernaast bijna. Ja.
That makes it a more interesting game for everyone to watch. And that really suits this Netherlands team, really suits their style of play as well. Always very confident with the draw, very confident with the T-weight.
Ik had 96 en op die tweede had ik 93.
This 5 rock free guard zone really suits their style of play, but Schwaller not afraid to take a run at all of them. So big weight from Romano Meyer here, and he definitely can remove both of those guards at once. You can see they just left them a little bit too close there.
Ja.
And Schwaller's team really strong at that kind of shot.
Ja, moet gewoon opletten dat hij niet dit doet en achter die guard komt.
Ja, maar ik heb liever dat hij dat doet dan dat hij... Ja.
Oké, recht ervoor.
Ja.
Haartje, die is goed.
Ja. En juist terug op je midden daar hoeven.
I'm sure that Netherlands are going to replace that guard.
Wat dacht je?
Schwaller has last shot here in this third end, but if he wants to score anything, at some point he has to do something about that
Nog een
red.
beetje kop
His
minder.
yellow shot's nice and safe in front of it. Not so easy to remove that yellow. But at some point he's going to have to remove the red. And that's why Netherlands will persist with putting up this guard.
Clean. Clean.
Let's say hi to Jeroen. Jeroen in the chat as well. That sounds like a Dutch
Overaf.
name maybe. So
Clean hem, Lau.
maybe you're a Van Dorp
Clean
fan
him.
tuning in.
Shit. Shit. Ja. We hebben gewoon meer ijs nodig. Eerste ijs is goed, denk ik.
Sounds like they're not too happy with that, and indeed Schwaller can see probably half of that yellow. And indeed that gives him now the chance to do something about that red.
Ja. Ja, maar ja, we hebben een bezenkop meer ijs dan bij Laurens en we overcurlen een halve steen meer.
That's exactly what Schwaller was looking for. A half shot from Netherlands. Let's see if they can make the most of it.
Ja.
Not too big from Michael Brunner. It needs to curl a little bit. Has to get around that red guard. Looks like he's pretty good. Just like that. So nice gentle weight. They're not 100% happy with it because I think there is
Niet
Ja,
een
dat-
dubbel.
possibility there could be a double takeout or
Oké.
a bit of a hit and roll. But yeah, I
Ja.
think the double takeout's nicely there. I would go for that.
Hoe we hem gooien, zo.
There's no risk to it.
Ja.
8,5 dan. Ja.
Especially since Van Dorp's team don't have last shot
Denk
in
wel
this
een
third
stukje meer
end.
nog.
I think
Voor
if
mij
there's
gaat
an
hij wel.
opportunity to make the
Oké.
double,
Dit. Ja.
I would definitely have a go at that. That's why Schwaller's team were a little bit disappointed. They wanted that shooter to roll a bit further left as we see it and make the double harder for Van Dorp.
Ja. Ja. Hard. 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 Hard voor de spin. Hard. Spin hem. Ah. Ja, dat was het risico.
Again, by their own high standards, they're not completely happy with that, but yeah, Van Dorp has removed both yellow counters and removed that danger for the time being. Schwaller does have the opportunity to hit and roll behind cover.
Okay.
But nice double takeout for me there from Van Dorp, removing both those yellows.
Maar ik vind het beter. Je elimineert toch? Ik vind dit beter dan de witte rollen.
Hard, cello. Ja. Hard.
We hebben waarschijnlijk net geluk dat hij net de ronde maakt.
We're at the quarter-final stage here at the first Adelboden International WCT event.
Ja, dat is bij
First
mij,
time
hè,
for
dus
Adelboden
niet
Club
te
that
veel
they
van
have the
aflezen.
WCT stamp of quality, and that's a big deal.
Ja, ik dacht dat.
Ja.
Congratulations to Adelboden Club. That's really exciting to have a new event on the WCT Tour. And a big bonus for your club to have
Als je
such a high-class
nog
competition
net
here.
bij te centen bent, is het oké.
You can keep up
Je
with
wil hem niet overrollen, want dan maak
all
je zijn
of
verhaal
the
makkelijker. Ik heb liever dat hij een
WCT Tour
centimeter
events.
ziet,
You
dan
can
dat
look at
we
the
hem,
homepage. That will give you the scores
maar
also
rollen
from
is
this
gewoon
event.
al. We gooien 10.
And you will find that at worldcurlingtour.org.
Ik denk het wel.
I believe it's a new homepage, so make sure you're looking in the right place, worldcurlingtour.org. And you will see a little red ribbon at the top that says scores, and if you click on that, you will see the scores that we see on the screen here, as well as the previous scores from previous rounds. You can see really tight games out there. That's exactly what we'd expect at this stage. These are the top 8 teams in the competition.
Hard, yep.
Started off with 16, and 8 teams have been knocked out at this stage.
Ja, ik dacht dat ik harder moest kicken, maar
Neither team finding that little roll behind cover at the moment. Yannick Schwaller has another chance to tuck one in behind those centre
Ja,
guards.
nee, is niet slecht. Maar ik wou gewoon, ik was bang dat ik echt 10-8 zou gooien of zo, omdat ik weet dat hij daar zo traag was.
Ik vind dit niet erg.
Ik ook niet. Ik bedoel,
Hij gooit sowieso de hitte rol daarachter.
ja,
Dan ligt hij best wel hoog.
ja, dat is niet ideaal, maar het is ook niet heel erg. Beter wel
Jazz from
overal
Sheffield asks, why is there only one block in the hack, please? And people have been noticing this all weekend, actually.
Als ik gewoon 10 gooi, dan hebben we...
Let's see if Yannick Schwaller first gets this roll. Looks like they're sweeping it to try to encourage it to curl. I don't think it's going to, though, no. So neither team finding that roll
Alleen dan
yet.
gooi ik hem haar zachter.
Gaan we doen.
You can see behind right where Michael Brunner's standing, he's leaning his brush on the single hack that's there. And I think that's simply because there are no left-handers playing. You can see the second hack
Alleen dan moet ik
is
10
right behind
gooien.
Yannick Schwaller, that little white plastic. It's upside down there with the 2 little pins sticking out the top. That's the second hack. If anybody left-handed was on this sheet, then they would put that hack down as well. I think it's nothing more sinister than that. Nothing's broken or missing. It's just that, yeah, we seem to have 8 right-handers out there today. And the hacks are removable. Therefore, if you don't need it, it just stays out the back.
Oh, Zwijder.
Okay, so
Af.
last stone here for
Arno,
Netherlands.
yep.
Can Wouter
Arno.
find
Ah, rip.
the roll? He's not going to find it either.
9-7.
Ja.
I think Schwaller just confirming
Maar dat was gewoon
that,
hard
yeah,
positiever nog.
neither team easily finding the roll there.
Oké, goed gegooid hoor.
Ja.
Ik denk,
And
ja,
this will now be a
toch gewoon
straightforward
iedereen
Oké,
take-out for Schwaller.
kan je echt wel hebben.
is goed. Ja.
And they will
Je
want
gaat
to
ook
blank
nooit
this
slap gooien,
end.
want je denkt nooit die guard raken.
Ja.
Ja. Dat was dus nog 9-7.
Ja.
Dus ja, bijna. Ja, eigenlijk is het precies dezelfde bal. Het wordt ook gewoon rechter.
Ja.
Oké, ja, jammer,
Well,
maar
I can't imagine
Ja.
blank is blank.
any mistake here. No, everybody's backing off because it's fine already. Nice clearing shot there from Yannick Schwaller. Actually, another reason they may not put the
Okay.
left-handed hack down unless they need it is because you can see how many stones go
Ja.
flying
Nog steeds wel,
in these games. They've got some big takeouts,
Qua kant.
these men's
De
teams,
kans hebben
and
wel gewoon
the hacks can
voor
get damaged. If a stone hits a hack going at speed,
een beetje,
that can really damage the hack. So actually, it makes sense. If you don't need the hack, let's just leave it behind. It's nice and safe there. It's not going to get hit by
ja, en
a stone squirting backwards.
Eigenlijk hetzelfde uiteindelijk, toch?
Als je hem blinkt is ook weer niet erg.
Ja, precies. Ja,
And that could be another
inderdaad.
reason
Vuurtijd.
why
Hadden plan.
we just put down the right-hand attack, since we don't need it. It gives you a little bit more space, I guess, also to deliver your stone for the right-handers. You
drie
don't
ligt gewoon
have
vooraan.
to, it won't bump into the left-hand attack or something. Blank end there then for Schwaller's team here in that third end in this quarter-final of the first Adelboden International. And it's worth repeating why the teams would rather have a blank end than
Vol
make a
4!
fairly simple
Oké,
shot
lijn is krap.
to score 1 point.
Yep, dat is tof. Top 8!
Yep. Hardlauw.
You could see in
Vol
that
8.
third end there that Yannick Schwaller,
5-4.
he almost had the whole house to draw to,
Hij
which
is,
he
bij
easily
het
managed to
acht,
do.
Ja, oh maar.
Vol 8, vol 8.
Oh maar.
Vol 8.
Volgens mij
And
wil
the
hij
reason
gewoon iets meer.
He doesn't want that
Ja,
is
dat is wat
because
bij mij, dat was de vorige
scoring
wedstrijd, die
1
gooide ik.
Ja,
with
maar
last
we
shot
dachten
is
dat 6 nog meer curlde dan
relatively
10, maar
straightforward at this level,
Deze
and
doet echt wel
that's
meer.
why
Oké.
they would rather keep last shot and try to get a mistake or two out of their opposition and try to score 2 points instead. So scoring 1 point with hammer is almost the default. And
Nee,
if you do that for
maar dit
8
is
ends, you will
dezelfde
end up with a
steen die
score
ik
of 4
gooide in de
each.
vorige wedstrijd. Daarom
Therefore,
hebben we
if you want to win the game,
Gotta go.
you're going to have to
Ja,
break that pattern. You're going to have to score more than 1 when you get
want
last
ik
shot. And
gooide
that's
toen
why
3-4, wist je
you will
nog?
see
En toen met
teams,
4 undercurlden we de hele tijd.
if they have the option to take 1 point or blank the end and score 0, they will
Het is gewoon een goede
oftentimes
guard gooien.
go for that blank.
Gewoon net bij het center zijn met die guard nog.
Welcome Gretchen in the chat. I
hartstikke
know Gretchen's a bit of a super fan as well of curling.
Als we zo met je afhangen, kan niet zo houden.
I know that in Portland, gosh, if it's not one damn thing, it's another at the moment. I'm happy if we can be your curling buddies and give you something to smile about meanwhile.
2!
Oké, kom maar eens dan. Lijn is oké.
2 max!
Yep, kom maar door.
2-3!
Lijn is goed.
2-3!
Yep,
Net
je
3!
kan nog. Je kan wel. Yep, kom maar door. Oké,
Nice.
prima.
Netherlands sticking to that strategy that works for them.
Ah.
Nice aggressive play,
Ja,
putting up corner
Oké.
guards.
zeker. Hij kan iets dieper steeds, maar hij is steeds best hoog. Maar
Decision
lijn
for
is zeker
Schwaller
goed,
now
dat
is,
is
do
het
they
belangrijkste.
directly use that corner guard? Do they just want to draw
ja, je
one
gooit steeds 2 tienen minder
straight
op
in?
de tweede.
And that looks like exactly what they're doing. The other option would be to
Oké.
go to the center before
Maar
Van
mooi
Dorp's
bal, man.
team,
Goeie lijn.
or chase towards the center and keep the game there.
Vang op, vang op!
Ja,
This is the more aggressive
vorige
call.
end 2
Die
tienen
gouden
en nu
begint dicht.
1500.
Mooi, zeven.
They're trying to make their second stone safe behind that guard. It's got a long way to curl though.
Rom.
Ja,
They're giving it everything, the two
rol?
sweepers.
of...
So if Yannick moves his head out of the way, I think that looks like a good result. Nice sweep there.
Ja. Ja. Is de rol
Oké.
makkelijker. Dat is wat we net ook zeiden, dus dat was gewoon goeie. Oké, Lau, 11.
Now I can't tell if the decision for Netherlands is to persist with going towards the center and really junk up the center line there. That
10-8!
Schwaller would
10-8!
have to then start hitting, but no, it looks like they're chasing that stone. Just played from Schwaller.
Clean.
10-8!
Yep.
The shout of clean's always encouraging. That tends to mean it's on track.
Yep.
It certainly is on track.
Oké, top.
Ooh, look at that. Again,
Very quick,
lovely, really controlled shot from second thrower Laurence Hoekman for Netherlands.
Even mooi daar rollen.
And now Schwaller looking at 2 red counters behind the centre guard.
10-5.
You can see some of it,
Als een drink toe altijd zo.
5, 10-5.
but Netherlands keeping that pressure on. They're determined not to let Schwaller use that corner guard. They want to keep the play towards the centre.
Ik had dat hij firm was.
Nur out, gell?
Niet fijn, kan het niet mega.
Ja, dit was die hun in het tweede end. Die hek weet.
Out! Hek! Ja! Ball! Ja! Ball! Ja! Hard!
Can they get that round this front guard? They can.
Whoa, whoa!
And that's a lovely way to just start moving those stones around a bit.
Gewoon freeze.
Does just punch that second red out the back.
Ja,
That was a nice stone.
gewoon top 12.
Now that yellow's
maar
in a
dat is
bit
top
of a
12.
dangerous position. We can see red still lying short.
Ja, 4-1, 4-0-5.
That's a nice yellow in front of T there. They can use that, move stones around, push it further, closer to the middle. So meanwhile, Lawrence
Bijt
Hoekman
12.
hoping to
Oké, lijn terug.
consolidate that lovely shot he played.
Vol 12 bij het af.
A minute to
Roosje
go.
kan. Vol 8. Oh. Nee.
Hij freeze die rode, denk ik.
Carlo,
You
je
can see
gaat.
just where Jack Van Dorp's brushes, that's where they wanted to
Yep,
stop. I think this is
Moet
Yep,
ik
press
coming in
it,
a
yep.
little bit hot.
Yep.
hij
Yeah,
is
they
er
may
al.
be wise
Oh,
to
Hij is al.
bring it up to the face of the red there already.
Maar goed dat we de lijn
That's not a
houden.
terrible result at all. Pretty difficult to remove both of those reds with one stone.
Dus dan dachten we, oké,
Oh
dan,
ja, ik al een top 4.
Handy plan B there.
Maar dat is
Didn't
gewoon-
quite get the curl that they wanted,
Ja.
but getting it to the face of the red that was already there. You can see that red in front. That's not going anywhere.
Ja.
Het is gewoon dat hij
Ja,
open
kan-
is.
ja,
Dat is jammer.
precies. Ja.
Maar weet je wat
Je
we
wou hem
nu
juist
zelf
iets
naast is?
over
Is
Birdie
Johnny?
en
Ja,
Queen Freeze.
Mars is dat
Schwaller
weer bij
can
het
certainly
12
move
Ja.
Klieg je lijn niet weer vooraan.
Als je deze
the
lijn
red
bent, dan
behind,
lijkt
the
het
one that's currently closer to the middle. You can squirt that one out the back, but
hard.
Ja.
De eerste
Even-
bal was wel bij de 12, maar
with a perfect shot here, they will still have that one red
ja,
probably in the forefoot. So again, gentle weight here from Romanaya.
freeze.
Ja, ik denk het ook. Het kunnen hitten, maar
Sounds like the sweepers are calling it is hack weight.
3.
That's exactly what they called. Sweeping to get it around that guard, sneaks it around by nothing at all. Great shot from Romanaya. Could hardly have gone up and placed that much better.
Ja, nee, ik dacht tappen.
ja.
That's exactly what they were looking for.
Ja.
Mars is dat je hem alsnog freeze.
Ja,
Now,
inderdaad.
where Walter is
Maar gewoon niet met je schieten eraf.
demonstrating with his brush right in front of that
Hier, ik
yellow.
denk dat het voor mij close moet
I
zijn.
think
Dat is
that's where
goed dan.
Netherlands want to place their next stone. Yep, right there.
Als je haartje tapt is
Ja,
ideaal.
Thank you,
zie ik
Walter.
al die ook,
Maybe just nudge that red stone back a little bit. You can see, yes, that red is still closer. Netherlands are still lying one, but that red's getting a little bit lonely in there. It's starting to be quite vulnerable. Those two yellows just in front of it are both quite dangerous, and that's why Schwaller is setting them up in that way, that he can use those yellows later to bump that red
Ja,
back out again. No advantage to hitting those yellows. All you will do is squirt your own red out. Therefore, Netherlands now putting another stone ahead of T.
Jij blij?
They want a nice safe red tucked up against those yellows,
Ja.
so that if Yannick Schwaller
Wow.
does then go for the hit and removes the red that's
Zo
currently
dik
shot,
mogelijk raken. Wow. Geen bounce. Niks. Niks. Dit is goed. Goeie calls, boys.
so again, I think that's a bit of a plan B. That I'm sure that's not the shot they were calling. They really wanted that shot right up close to those yellows. But riding their luck a little bit this first half of the game. They again got quite a nice plan B there, the Netherlands, so they've managed to split that centre guard, and now they're covering both those yellow stones.
hij heeft een dubbel peel, maar...
That won't put Schwaller off too much. They're perfectly comfortable with driving either of those reds back onto the yellows and squirting that back red out of play. That's exactly what they're going to do. Or they may be just saying to themselves, okay, we've got last shot here in this fourth end. Let's just give ourselves space. Let's just try to move both of these guards at once.
Ja, in principe een soort van dezelfde getal, maar... Maar juist wel.
Okay, so all the other games are finally also on their fourth end. So let's see what's going on over there. On sheet 1, we have Joe Returnaz's unbeaten Italian team. But they're exchanging ones at the moment. So after 3 ends, it's 2-1 to Team Hoesley. Really tight encounter going over there on sheet 1. On sheet 3, we have Ternanzoni playing Todsek, also exchanging ones. And after 3 ends, that is 2-1 to Ternanzoni. Over on sheet 4, we have Peter de Cruz playing Jan Hess. All Swiss affair, and de Cruz picking up a big 4 in the third end, making that score 6-2. Bit of a mountain to climb for Team Hess. They are also, let me just double check, I'm pretty sure Team Hess are on their 3rd game of the day. Yes, they are. Team Hess started out at the 10:45 draw this morning. They won that. They played again at 5 o'clock and they won that to earn their place here in the quarterfinals. So this is their 3rd game today. De Cruz's team qualifying directly. They're unbeaten so far. And they've only played 3 games this whole weekend. Maybe that coming into play a little bit over on sheet 4 in the game between de Cruz and Hess. Maybe Team Hess starting to feel the burn a bit with their 3rd game today. As we said, the Hoesley team playing Joe Returnaz's team on sheet 1. This is their 4th game today and they are currently 2-1 ahead. That speaks pretty well about their training regime. The Italian team, current bronze medal holders from Europe, so no pushover. The Hoesleys are keeping up with them.
De kans dat hij mij een dubbel of triple zelfs laat, die is er wel,
Jess
denk
has to
ik.
leave us, so that would be lovely to see you again tomorrow, Jess. Have a good evening.
Het lijkt alsof hij die wel een minuut hard in gooit. Kijk hoe ver die gele squirt, want je kan altijd nog hit en roll teruggooien.
I like the Hoesley team, the team on sheet 1 playing Joe Returnaz's team. I like Joe's team very much as well.
Benieuwd waar die dan heen gaat.
I've played the Hoesley team a couple of times at their home club in Glarus. Still a very young team, all in their early 20s. Very experienced at the junior level. They've played in the World Junior Championships. And the Hoesley team have really been working hard together for 3 or 4 years. And this is their result. They're keeping up with the biggest teams in the world, or at least in European competition. Look at that. So yeah, I have a bit of a soft spot for the Hoesley team, having played them myself a few times.
Het is wel krap.
Ja.
Je kan ook dit doen.
Ja,
Glad
dat
to see them doing well.
dacht ik eigenlijk. Je ligt shot, zolang je je shooter...
Ja, precies. Dan gooi je die gewoon hierheen.
But Joe Returnaz's team always fun to watch as well. The Italian outfit.
Gewoon 11.
Ja, ik dacht 11.
Haven't had a chance to watch them so far this weekend. Maybe if they qualify for the semi-final, we'll have a chance to
Je
watch
ziet
them
niet
tomorrow.
heel veel van die, toch? Nee, laat maar.
Meanwhile, back in our featured game,
Dus ja, raken wat je ziet.
we're in the third end.
Shooter.
Sorry, the fourth end.
Ja,
The
vol
score
achtstuk
after
is
3
ideaal.
ends is 2-1 to
Dan leg je
Dorp.
2 shots. 11.
Schwaller playing yellow. They have last stone in this fourth end. You can see they're definitely lying 1 shot. Maybe 2, hard to tell from our angle. And Walter Huskins keen to play red onto yellow and remove that shot.
Oh!
Close.
In!
Whoa!
Oh.
And sweepers are standing
Carlo,
back a
yep.
little bit.
Yep.
As
Yep.
Hard,
looks
Carlo,
pretty
geen
loose
rol.
zone.
Geen rol.
Removes the shot. Gets a nice
Okay.
little roll behind cover. And his shooter still hanging on. Lovely shot from Walter.
Oké.
Outstyle.
Nee, die stik je achter de guard. Hij wilde hack, maar...
Lange tas.
The Van Dorp team, another team who've really been putting in the
Ja.
work for the past 3 or 4 seasons
Wat we nog liggen.
Ja.
and very much seeing their results
Goede
now.
marge. Je moet zeker zijn dat diegene
As
eruit
we said,
Ja.
they're maybe not so well known as Team Schwaller or Team Eden or something, but
Ja.
goodness me,
Ja.
they keep on showing up in semi-finals and
Waarschijnlijk wel
finals
hetzelfde
and
als
the
die
big
hit. Als je 11
competitions.
gooit, dan maak je hem perfect. De kult
That's
die
a
hard
direct
meer, dan
result
stik je
of
hem wel vol. Nou, ik weet niet
all
hoe
their
hard,
efforts
maar
over the past 3 or 4 seasons.
is goed.
They've experimented a little bit, the Van Dorp team, with
Waarschijnlijk iets achter
different
de guard rollen.
lineups. People, different folks throwing third or fourth stones,
Ja.
different
Je
folks
ziet dat plus een
skipping or
kwart.
not. And they've seemed to have settled on this lineup. That's really working for them.
Even kijken waar deze heen gaat.
Same as Schwaller's team. They've gone through a couple of different lineups as well.
Cello. Wow. Remmen. Remmen.
Zo.
Hey.
Zie je nou de guard?
Hi.
I don't think he's around the guard this time, though.
Hard Jaap.
No,
Go Jaap, go Jaap, go.
he's caught the
Hard Jaap.
end. Sorry, caught the edge.
Kom Cello.
Goed geveegd. Ik denk gewoon die rollen, die net die
Volgens
cheeren.
mij kom je... Ja, je stuft
That
hem hier
shows us
gewoon.
Ja,
how nice
maar je
that
wil
shot
die
was
stukken
from
Ja.
Wouter
Ja,
Want dan liggen ze allebei top 8.
a minute ago.
Ja. En je legt geen triple neer, nee, denk ik.
Nee,
Gewoon
toch?
normaal.
Nose is goed.
Normaal is goed, toch?
Ja, ik denk normaal.
Ja.
I
Ik
think
denk dat
that's
die
Dutch
kaars
for
recht
nose
is.
is good.
Is
Misschien
oké,
dat
toch?
die kwartsteen doet.
And indeed, that's all they have to do here, Netherlands. What they want is simply to stop Schwaller scoring more than one with the last shot in this fourth end.
Dus ja, ideaal,
And
zeg
indeed,
maar,
if
raak je
Wouter
net aan
just
de binnenkant,
beaks
En
this shot, hits it
heb
on the
je je
nose,
eigen, zeg maar,
then
net
there is
naar de andere kant
no
van de
triple
center.
takeout for Yannick Schwaller, and he will have to
Ja,
draw to the 8 foot
maar
to
prio is
make
dat
1
je,
point.
als je hem nose is goed. 9.
I completely agree, Wouter. Nose is good.
Normaal.
Clean!
Yep.
Oh. Clean! Yep!
Hard!
Clean's always a good shout. That typically means it's
Oh!
Yep!
going
Roll him,
all by
Carlo!
itself nicely.
Oh. Top.
Really nice, Wouter.
Ja, dat is
I am
perfect eigenlijk.
pretty sure there is no triple takeout. You can see red is lying 3 shots.
Ja,
There is no triple takeout. Schwaller has the choice to either
Gaat vuur gaan go.
Oké, top boys.
make a hit and stick to score 1 point, or he can try and draw the hit. Maybe
Yeah.
easier.
Ja.
Those 2 reds pretty close to the center there.
Eigenlijk kijk je
Heinimann, relatief snel hebben.
This choice simply comes down to what you're more comfortable with.
ja, dat klopt. Maar niet de triple, toch?
Nee.
Some people would prefer the draw. They'd be comfortable saying, yeah, I can definitely
Zet tegen gewoon, je wil
grab a
buiten
piece of the
zetten
4
zijn,
foot circle.
eigenlijk.
Or some people,
Elkaar
if you just hit that center red, if you hit that right on the nose, you will stick there and nice shot. He seems to be looking if there's a triple,
We gaan zo of zo.
but
Al niet vuur gaan.
I think that might be a bit dramatic for this stage in the game. If he muffs it, he might lose
We gaan meemaken.
a 2,
Maar zo ongeveer.
and then he'll be 4-1 down instead of 2 each.
Het is wel ook gewoon omdat we hem zo gooien, heb je ook wel kans op een steal.
Looks like maybe he's going for at least the double.
Ik denk dat hij altijd wel de dubbel maakt.
Ja, dat
And
klopt.
maybe he reckons there's a triple there. I'd be delighted for him to prove me wrong.
Maar ik denk eigenlijk dat hij 8 gewoon stikt op.
Ja, toch? Want hij raakt 8 aan de bovenkant.
Waarschijnlijk wel.
Nou, we gaan meemaken.
Is niet zoveel wat we kunnen doen, toch?
Ja, gewoon kunnen nozen.
So plenty beans on this shot. If he wants to move all 3, he's going to have to be motoring.
Sorry.
He was not far off, but worth a try. He was just about guaranteed to pick up 1 point there, which he has. So again, good result there for Netherlands, yeah. Fist bumps and high fives for them.
Oké boys. Goed force. Is gewoon prima end. Dus. Gewoon lekker doorpakken. 5e end.
They were looking at it again. He wasn't far off, you know.
Dus
I think the triple maybe was there, proving me wrong.
ik denk nog wel een corner inderdaad. Ja.
That would have been a magnificent score of 2, so definitely worth a try.
Daarom.
He was always
Ja.
confident of the double
Met die
to
corner
pick
kan je
up 1
altijd
point.
keuze,
No risk to
anders heb
trying
je
for
geen
the
keuze om
triple.
te switchen.
Aber was hast du jetzt?
Ja. We hadden, Jaap en ik hadden het erover gehad.
At the
hoor, dat
halfway
dit
stage then, in this
misschien
quarter-final,
was. Maar ja, het is ook van,
score confirmed
je
as
kan hem ervoor laten gaan.
2
En als hij
each
mist, dan
in
stuur je misschien zelfs.
this featured game
Dat was,
with Jaap van Dorp from Netherlands
maar
and
ja,
Yannick
deze
Schwaller.
twee. Daarom zei ik,
Zwitserland.
nood is goed, want dan lag de triple er nooit. Dat was daarom wat Toekarde zei, we tappen hem iets ver, dat was zo. Dus je moest een kwart steen minder, maar... Precies. Maar ja, volgende end. Dat was goed genoeg.
Also in the 5th end, let's come back again. Also in the 5th end, all the other games except one on sheet 1.
Gas
Still
klein.
exchanging ones over there.
Gas klein.
Neither team buckling so far. And
Rood.
after 4
Rood.
ends on
Rood.
sheet 1, the game between Joe Returnas,
Ik denk dat Jaap eerst 6 wil
the young
gooien,
Hees
maar
leading from
zal het
Switzerland.
snel-
That's at 2 each. Over on sheet 4, the
Jaap,
game between Peter de
wil je
Cruz
eerst
and Jan
6?
Hees, both of Switzerland.
6? Ja.
Jan Hees came right back with a strong 2 in that 4th end after losing a big 4-pointer in the 3rd. That score at the halfway is 6-4. Bit more positive for Jan Hees's team. And they're just playing last shots in the 4th end in the Tirinzoni Totzek game, and we'll update you with that as soon as they are done.
Twee, drie. Oké, luister goed. Ja, Willem niet te diep. Hoge 3. Ja, het blijft recht. Oké, lauw als je gaat. Nee, kan niet. Oké. Ah, oké.
Ah, kom maar ietsje.
Ga maar.
Yep.
Yep. Wow. Top.
Mooi steek, Carlo.
Ja, ik dacht als jij zegt 3 kill meer is handiger toch?
Die met 4 corners spelen.
Oké. Mooi bal. Sorry? Ja, zeker wel. Ja.
In this 5th end of this quarter-final then, scores 2 each, and Van Dorp team have now last shot in this 5th end. We're seeing a little bit of a switch up in play there.
Oké, Carlo. Mooi bal.
Last time Van Dorp had hammer, they generated a nice 2-pointer. They'll be looking to do that again. And meanwhile, Yannick Schwaller will be doing the reverse. Marcel Keufler, lead thrower for Schwaller. Pretty reliable, nice weight there.
Ja hoor. Je
Doesn't
ziet,
quite get
bijna
behind
helft.
cover.
Oké.
Netherlands can see over half of that stone. So nice opportunity here for them to make a little hit and roll behind cover. So Carlo Glasbergen typically has really nice steady game at lead for Netherlands. I don't think he's going to get the roll to the left. A little tiny one.
Sorry, was jij het die hoek al of was andere baan? Oh, oké.
Curled a little bit more than they wanted. But we've seen this line play a little bit straight before. We've seen the teams try to find a roll on this line and not quite get it. There's another look at that. First things first, the yellow is out of play.
Dan ben je voorste, ene hing in de gat.
Ja.
Zo goed.
Yep.
Nou, ze hebben nur halb geschleckt zijn, is zo goed.
Vind je ook?
Goed.
Nee,
Kort.
dat zei hij ook niet, dus ik denk dat je gelijk hebt. Niet te veel van maken. Ja, daarom... Ja, ik vraag het zo, ja? Want ik heb nu gewoon geen antwoord.
You can
Sorry.
see that one little yellow stone at the top right of our picture. That's from the game next door. That's the final shot in the 4th end for Tirinzoni versus Totzek.
Ja!
This looks a bit more successful to get the roll to the left.
Ja, dan rollen wij terug.
Rolling a long way left, but they won't mind that. That drags the play
Cent 5, Blenken was oké,
a bit
hè?
further out. Now Van Dorp will be trying to do the hit and roll back towards the centre. He would love to get a roll in behind that red.
Ik weet niet zeker.
Looks like on rink 3 there, after 72 minutes, someone's ready to play the last shot of the fourth end.
Clean. Clean.
Must be a complicated match going on over there.
Oh, nooit.
He's definitely on the yellow.
Oké, prima.
Alright.
Lawrence Hookman
9-0.
doesn't quite get the roll.
Oké, sorry. Nee.
Same idea for Schwaller. Let's see if they can find a bit of a roll behind cover.
Nee, ik dacht dat hij misschien nog wat vers zou zijn. Zeg maar dat het begin. Nee. Zoveel krulde. Maar mijn fout. Ja. Nog een kans. Zelfde bal.
Hetzelfde.
Ja, tuurlijk. Een haartje minder ijs, zelfde lengte en dan maken we hem.
Schwaller's team also not quite finding that roll behind cover. Still leaving an open shot for Team Van Dorp to hit. We're at the halfway stage here of the quarterfinals at the first Adelboden International WCT Men's Tour event.
Clean. Clean. Yep.
This looks a bit more hopeful. This is definitely going right. Really nice shot there from Lawrence Hookman. He's been having a really strong competition.
Goeie goal.
Ja, laat het buiten komen.
Ja, ik hoorde Jip, maar was niet
That
heel
means that Schwaller,
duidelijk.
he can see a little bit of that red.
Dus dat zijn wel minimaal.
If they wanted to try on the clockwise handle again, but
Maar dan gooi je uiteindelijk ook
he would not be able to
9-4. Dus dan gooi je
stick his shooter.
Laat liever niet langs.
Let's have another look at that. Really nice roll coming here.
Oké.
Excellent shot from Lawrence Hookman.
Straks gooide de split huis, maar ik denk nu omdat hij zo hoog is, kan dat niet echt.
This then makes the most
Ik denk
sense
maar gewoon
for
bijten
Yannick
achter.
Schwaller.
Ja, zeker. Gewoon zelf de hoogte.
Ja. Maar waarschijnlijk maakt hij erin, dat kan ook.
It's that corner guard that's causing them difficulties. That's the danger shot.
Gewoon op de corner, hè. Ja.
Michael Brunner lifts the pair of them. Well, again, that shot's a little bit fancier. Looks a bit fancier than it is because he did leave that yellow also as a corner guard. Doesn't matter to the Netherlands what colour the corner guard is. They'll gladly use it. And that's exactly what Jaap van Dorp is trying to do now. He wants to put another one in behind. There you can see Wouter holding the brush. They'll be playing the counterclockwise handle to put another stone in behind. So let's see what the hog-to-hog is. We'd expect about 14 seconds, just over, for a T9.
Alleen Carlo! Wow, wow, wow. Geen lijn.
Wouter looking at the line. Sweepers looking at the weight. 14.4.
Hoger.
So maybe just short of T-line.
Innerhalf. Je overbeurt hem. Je ziet een kwart van de buitenkant.
Oh, we're getting really good at this. Our judgment here in the virtual curling club. Very, very good. Same shot then for Michael Brunner. And this time, it's a yellow he's promoting. And if it ends up sticking, then he'd have a yellow in the house rather than red. He's just played this shot, so he'll be feeling fairly confident to get it again. Big sweep, and he catches just enough of it. Still leaves a guard out front, but it is in the centre. And Wouter suggesting there are two things you could do here. Wouter now having a bit of a look at the scoreboard to say, are you sure about this? There are two things you can do. Sounds like Jaap van Dorp is keen to play the aggressive shot and try to get one of their red stones in behind, just where Wouter's signalling there. Wouter was suggesting, shall we just aim to remove both of those guards, because centre guards potentially could make their last shot a bit more difficult. Again, no right or wrong here. It's just a tactical decision. How comfortable you are playing particular shots. The aggressive call then is what they're going with. So again, let's see if our judgment is still as accurate. We're looking for just over 14 seconds hog to hog for a nice T-line. 14.27, yep. This is definitely front of house, maybe just short of T. Nice effort from Van Dorp. Netherlands has last shot. That's why Wouter was suggesting that maybe they don't want those centre guards. You can see that Yannick Schwaller, he can also use those centre guards. That's a nice shot by Jaap van Dorp, but Yannick will be confident that he can outdraw that and get one to the 4 foot. Put a bit of pressure on Netherlands, maybe make them regret not removing those centre guards when they had the chance. But a really reliable drawing team, the Netherlands. And with the last shot in this fifth end, they'll still be quite confident that they can get something out of this. They need guards up front if they want to score more than one, typically. Now's our chance to time Yannick Schwaller's shot. Make sure our judgment of the weight is still accurate. Looking for about 14 seconds, just over hog to hog. So about the same as Jaap van Dorp's actually. But running on a little bit further. So it could be that that's a slightly faster line on the other handle. Or it's always a bit difficult to time from the club area rather than being on the ice. Yeah, Van Dorp just signalling where they want the stone to land. We've been watching Wouter make these shots all day. There's just enough space in front of that yellow. There's a nice view. Just enough space if he can really get to the face of that yellow with exactly T weight. Schwaller's team will have a big problem scoring from there. And remember, Netherlands do have last shot here. So actually quite important that Wouter can get to that yellow and doesn't end up blocking his own path. So let's try again with our hog to hog. Looking for about 14 seconds for T-line. Oh golly, that's hanging out though. That's got a long way to curl back. I don't see them getting that to the face. And that's a mistake there from Wouter. Uncharacteristic. And now they could regret not removing those centre guards when they had the opportunity.
Dan had zacht kikt en ik zag ze op bezem gaan, maar het was blijkbaar gewoon goed.
Maar dus veel geweest is daar niet.
Het voelde gewoon zacht.
Ik weet niet, ik vertrouw er nooit zo op wat zij doen, want ik weet dat ik hem zelf altijd voor mijn gevoel iets meer meegeef of niet.
Ja.
Daar heb je zelf ook wel in.
Ja, ik moet, wat ik zei, het voelde voor mezelf ook wel zacht. Ja. Oeps. Ja. Zelfde lengte.
And Schwaller can put a lot of pressure on here. He could really make them regret going for the aggressive call instead of cleaning up those centre guards.
Moest niet, kort nou! Is nog zo wit. Alles is goed. Bis zu viel ist gut.
Well, his stone's hanging out a little bit as well. There's maybe just a little straighter bit of ice out there.
Yep. Halt! Noem het Taylor. Halt! Halt! Niet daar! Hurry! Goed. Zo goed.
But just that more accurate weight there.
Backline.
Ja.
You could see it curl just a little bit better.
Dan ben je ook goed. Daarheen is goed. Denk
Oké.
jij dit?
Ja, moeten we echt best wel dun raken. Kwart, dus
Ja.
backline is goed.
Tough shot coming up for Wouter. You can see those two yellows tucked in really nicely to the forefoot. Wouter will be playing
Gewoon backline.
about backline weight. He wants to just punch that red
Raken wat je ziet, zeg maar.
back towards the yellows.
Gewoon
Make sure it's got enough weight to push the red right the way to the centre.
Easy lijn op begin als je kan. Backline.
Big shot here then for Wouter, facing two yellow counters.
Oh, oh, low, low.
Yep. Hey, Carlo! Yep. Yep. Yep.
Sounds like the line's pretty good.
Hard.
Oh yes, you need to sweep
Yep,
that
yep,
now.
yep, yep.
Oh, they're just not quite got the angle, has it?
Perfect.
Goodness me, look at that. Great effort from Wouter, again, to keep his team afloat.
Ja, top.
Ja, ik wist
He
niet
can
dat
say
het precies die
thank
angle
you,
was.
yeah,
Ik
Van
dacht
Dorp,
echt,
for
die coast.
forcing the aggressive end there, forcing the aggressive shot. But Wouter's
Ja.
well up to the task.
Nee, maar we tappen weg naar de dolly, hè. Dan is het toch niet backline, ofwel?
Back
Het is gewoon van
But Schwaller will be quite happy with that end as well, as we said. Picking up one with last shot, that's kind of like the default.
Het is gewoon dat als ik hem nog een keer moet gooien, dan
Therefore, Schwaller's team, they won't mind that Van Dorp's team have given up hammer, but only got 1 point for it.
Ja, clean force. Super sowieso gewoon eerst de top 4 weer. Ja, tijd.
Zeker.
Meneer in ieder geval.
Ja.
Let's go.
Everyone aligned. Plans are known by the whole team. Really getting to the business end of this game. This is the 6th end. Score is 3-2 to Van Dorp. Schwaller's team with hammer in the 6th end.
T-line. Vol 4.
Oké, eind is perfect.
Vol 4.
Buiten 4.
Vol
Komt
4. Top 8, buiten 4.
Lijnlengte jongens, lijn is perfect.
Buiten 4.
Kult nu best wel.
Yep.
Yep. Top.
Oké.
Mooi steen, Carlo.
Ja. Ik dacht omdat deze wel wijd bleef. Ja. Ja, ik dacht omdat we die andere echt over de center curlden. Sorry man.
Al daar. Net zo slecht, ja. Ja. Zo.
Oké man, goed gegooid.
Dat heb ik goed gedaan. Zo'n beetje meer nog.
Sorry? Ja? Gewoon net een 10 eraf is goed.
Wat hebben we toch? Niet, wat?
Oké, O-line. Wouter! Heel wijd. Yep, hard Wout.
Kan ik?
Nou, waar? Hou wel 3, maar finish zover als je kan, Wout.
Zeker?
Nee, te veel compensatie. Gooi hem oké, Carlo.
Goed gegooid. Ja. Ja. Maar we moeten gewoon, volgens mij zijn die stenen best wel gelijk, maar... Ja, maar dat doen we altijd met z'n tweede. Dat is meer mijn punt. Maar...
So important decisions going on. Only 3 ends
Toch?
left.
Ja.
The score is 3-2.
Ja,
The game really balanced here.
maar je gooit gewoon goed. Je moet er gewoon rekening mee houden dat dat...
Every stone now going to have a big consequence.
Jemig.
Lovely shot from Marcel Kuifler there. Van Dorp looking to play basically the same shot. Schwaller with last stone here in the 6th end. They will be looking to try to score more than one. They would love to score 2 here. If they have to give up last shot, they really want to
Lien, 11.
put a score of 2 on the
Lien,
board.
4, 11-4.
Oh, Wout. Hard, Wout.
Let's take a look
Hard,
at what's going on
Captain.
elsewhere.
Hard, 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 hard,
On
hard, hard.
rink 1,
Oh, geen rol.
a big 2 for the Husley
10-8.
team,
10-8 zelfs.
who are on
Yeah.
their 4th game today. 2 for them in the 5th
Hello.
end, and that
Hello.
makes the score 4-2 to Team
Yeah.
Husley versus Team Returnas from Italy. That's an exciting game over there. 4th game for the Husley team today. They started at 8 o'clock this morning. And Returnas' team, bronze medalists at Europeans, they came through to the quarterfinals undefeated.
Ze kunnen vriezen, maar...
So they have to get a
kan
couple of
er
points
waarschijnlijk
back
ook wel
here.
vriezen.
They're also in their 6th end.
Vroeg, Griek.
Van achter die knap, is niet zo slecht.
Moment.
The Husley's not running out of gas so far, and
Vlog door even hier.
we'll definitely be keeping eyes on that one. Over on sheet 4,
Krap dit.
that's the game between Peter de Cruz and Jan Hess, both Swiss teams. And the score there is 6-5.
Zet door, Sam.
De
Laat maar
Cruz's
open
team
liggen.
picking up a
Wij
big
kunnen
4 in the 3rd end, but then Jan
Oh, nee,
Hess's
ligt
team
ervoor.
coming back with a 2 in the 4th end and stealing a 1 there in
Nee,
the
nooit
5th
wel op
end.
de neus moet kunnen komen, toch?
So really fighting to keep themselves in that game, Jan Hess.
Ja, dat
Peter
of
de
ander is
Cruz
dit.
leading Jan Hess 6-5.
We zien
gewoon-
60%!
On
doe
sheet
maar
3
gewoon
next
hack.
door,
Nee,
that's
dit goed is.
Dan kan hij inschatting maken of die
Tirenzoni versus Totzek, a rematch from yesterday afternoon where Silvana Tirenzoni's
Ja.
team ran out winners. They're still in their 5th end. Looks like every stone is in play every end, so it's taking them a little while to get through their ends here.
Lien. Oh, oh, Carlo.
A lot of stones in play also in their 5th end, and we'll come back to
Hard,
that
Carlo.
Hard, je hebt hem.
once we know what's going on in theirs with their result.
Yep.
Je hebt hem, man.
Back to our featured game now.
Rol hem ook achter de center.
They're in their 6th end.
Oh, Carlo. Mag niet.
Schwaller playing yellow.
Ja.
They have last shot in the 6th
Ja,
end.
ja.
Oké, Lau.
And the score is 3-2 to Van
Dat
Dorp.
is niet slecht hoor. Speelt gewoon niet super. Ja, ik had 11-1.
Let's see a replay there. I think Carlo Glasbergen, he was at that point trying to sweep the stone to encourage it to curl. It didn't curl quite as much as they wanted, so the yellow doesn't quite go out the back. But that red could be handy in the forefoot, even though it's behind tee.
Dat is niet. Ik vind de free kick te slim.
Ja.
And I can tell you now what's going on rink 3.
Ik ga de free kick ook vinden, de remmen net zo.
They've just concluded the 5th end, and
Nuttig al.
Tirenzoni fans out there, and I know there are a lot of people
Oké.
cheering for Savannah Tirenzoni's team this weekend.
Dit ding is echt slecht.
They stole another 2 in the 5th end, and that makes the score on rink 3 5-1 to Tirenzoni with 3 ends left to
Vroeger
play.
had ik die altijd in Schotland. Die ja, die
So I know a lot of people supporting
peanut
Savannah and her team
bars
this
of zo.
weekend.
Ik weet niet, was het ook van Nature Valley? Ik weet niet.
I think people
Zullen
really
we met hun
appreciate
gaan
that it took good courage to put themselves out there to play on this stage with all the men's teams. A lot of support for Savannah for that brave decision, and
Yep.
they're really
Nee.
making good in this competition. 5-1 up
Ja, goeie
on
goal.
Team Todsik.
Goed voor. Shotsie best
Ja.
wel goed, hè?
Ga maar.
Ja, neem eens.
Freeze springt dus
Nee.
doen.
Het was gewoon, ja, anders staan we allemaal een beetje...
Moet dat een shotje, hè?
Ja.
Wel een beetje oppassen natuurlijk, maar
Shotsie, hè?
ja.
Met shotsie.
Dan heeft hij ook weer moeite.
Ja.
Maar niet, ja precies. We moeten gewoon eerst freezen, want dan heb je die achterste waarschijnlijk geëlimineerd.
Je kan ook zelfs met de auto in de freeze gooien trouwens.
Ja, maar waarschijnlijk gooien wij met de auto, ja. Want dan
Goed.
lig je makkelijk een shot.
Ja.
Ja, ja, je gaat
Het
door.
hangt er natuurlijk een beetje vanaf hoeveel hij
Ja, want hij is wel half
gaat
open.
gooien, man.
Back here in our featured game. As we said, every stone critical really now. We're in the 6th end, 3 ends including this one left to go. Every stone is going to have a consequence from here.
Hij heeft het wel hoor, maar...
Neither team can really afford a mistake. Oh, look at that for a shot from Normanamaya. Take that, thank you.
Door als je aan deze kant freeze, dan lijn je hem alleen maar op
Alleen maar
hierheen.
op, hè. Ik denk dat dat inderdaad een call is. Bij het
Having
4.
a great game at 2, as is very often the case from Anamaya. He and Yannick Schwaller.
Gewoon bij de 4.
Maybe the other two in the team as well. They've a lot of experience together at junior level, and in the past couple of seasons really burst into the men's scene as well. They are the current silver medalists in Europeans at the first time of asking, so fairly impressive. And tonight up against another very much up-and-coming team in Van Dorp's team from Netherlands.
Oh,
They've also played in Europeans.
Klaus, yep, moet gaan! Yep! Yep!
And as I said, they keep on popping up in semis and finals at these big WCT events as well. So lovely weight from Van Dorp, but just catching the guard.
Ja,
That could be the half shot that
ja.
Schwaller needs for this end. Schwaller playing yellow, they've got last stone in the 6th end. They would love to score 2,
Het lijkt alsof hij echt super buiten is en dan zit hij gewoon op de
which
kant.
would put them 1 point ahead.
Nee.
Dat is mijn eerste gedachte. Ik vind de toploper nog schwierig met licht te blijven. Ja.
And what they're discussing now, that yellow
Ja, genau.
near the
This way.
centre, that sliding shot just now. That's clear, and
Hij overkillt gewoon.
they need to decide where to put the second yellow
Ik wil
to
zo.
make it difficult for Van Dorp to remove it
Wat
again.
gebeurt nu? Ik ga. Ja.
Oké. Dus gooit hij de dubbel.
Ja, ziemlich hier.
Dan moeten we nu wel de
Dan
freeze
nou.
maken. Ja, echt
Ja, dan maar een
rol,
snelle
misschien
13.
niet een rol erop of zo.
Dat is daar niet mega, hoor.
Ik vind allebei goede call, maar...
Ja.
Ik vind allebei goede call. Ligt aan hoe makkelijk dit dubbel is.
Waarschijnlijk is hij vrij hoog, 6 maar dus.
Freeze kunnen we altijd maken.
Looks like Michael Brunner being asked for a controlled rate, hit and roll. Using that red to bounce off and get towards the centre. He hasn't got much of it though. I think that'll hang around, yeah. Yeah, nice result there. They had plenty of space to roll to. And now there's quite a few yellow counters hanging around. That will be a bit concerning to Netherlands.
Wat
Because
wil je? Meer ijs of?
Schwaller
Ja, ik
with the
gooi
yellow
wel iets
stones, they
positiefs,
have
maar nog
last
steeds
shot.
wel iets meer ook, denk ik. Ja, je wil alsnog aan deze kant komen. Ja. Ja, voor.
Sticking with the aggressive calls that have been really working for them, the
Wel
Netherlands.
beide nog, hè, maar... Oké.
Yeah, Van Dorp.
Yeah.
I think he was pretty accurate with his weight with his previous shot, but just the line overcurled a bit. Either they will have adjusted the ice or he maybe touched it in. Either way,
Oké, alleen
I'm
links
sure
uit,
he has
buiten
adjusted
4.
this shot now.
Easy line. Easy line. Lijn is goed, buiten 4. Lijn is goed. Lau.
Yeah, looks like he's definitely corrected it. It's certainly not curling tight this time.
Buiten 4. Je kan hem tappen nu.
They're sweeping now for the weight to try and get it all the way to that yellow. Yeah, that's found a nice spot.
Is best wel goed volgens mij.
I like that there from Jaap Van Dorp. Not so easy to remove that one. Important that they got a second red in. That red at the back of the forefoot was starting to get a little bit vulnerable.
Iets dieper was eigenlijk.
With those two yellows on the left of our screen, both of them hanging around the 12 foot.
Ja, je moet in ieder
They
geval
could become dangerous later.
Ja.
Ja, het enige probleem is dat hij misschien net aan de binnenkant gekomen
Ik
is.
vind zoiets auto vielleicht sogar so.
Daarom schrok ik, want eigenlijk wou ik niet switchen, want dit is goed.
Ich will,
Ja,
da verlieren wir
Maar ja,
mega schnell
eigenlijk moet je wel switchen
eine
als
von
het zo
denen
kort
im
is.
Maus.
ja.
Maar dan kan je ook niet
dan
switchen,
zijn we
want
nog
dan
maar
gaat er
twee.
weer af.
Alles
Maar
geholfen.
ik denk dat dit wel ja, best wel goed is.
Ja.
Hij moet nu wel echt iets doen.
Ja.
Ja.
Als je nou gewoon direct peelt.
Similar discussion just now then to the previous shot.
Gewoon die
That yellow is nice and
freeze,
safe.
Eerst
die
de beste
elimineert,
best,
is
hoor.
dat gekke kant?
I don't see the Netherlands
Zeker niet.
mee.
necessarily attacking
Dat
that
is nog
yellow.
2, maar ja, niet
Ja.
Yellow in the forefoot
Ja,
seems
klopt.
pretty safe at the moment.
Zodra je iets gaat hitten of zo,
Ja.
geef je hem alleen
Score
maar kans
one
voor een
point
dubbel
and
of triple
we are
of
now
zo.
discussing
ga hitten.
what can we do about,
En je rolt altijd weg met shooter.
that
Dus
red
volgens mij
just
heeft hij dan
played.
zit voor 3.
Ja, precies.
because that is a dangerous one. Actually, they could squirt that red back onto the yellow.
Ja, ik moet
There's
eigenlijk
not too much distance between them. So that red just thrown by Jaap Van Dorp, that's a dangerous shot. And they're discussing, okay, how can we get a second yellow into this space ahead of T, but not set up,
Ja, het is een beetje tricky. Maar ja, ben ik altijd al over.
but not set up a double, or
Dan gooi je waarschijnlijk gewoon een freeze op die buitenste.
not give Van
Dan
Dorp
zijn die in ieder geval
an
fit.
easy chance to remove it.
Want ja, als je... Want je kan nu niet echt die gele D-shot echt hitten, want je verpest het echt alleen maar voor jezelf. Ja. Het is gewoon tricky. Als hij net aan de binnenkant kan komen en de dubbel gooit, dan ligt hij 4. Maar ik denk dat we net goed genoeg zijn. Ja, hij doet dit. Ja. We gaan zien wat hij maakt.
Goed. Goed. Zo, oder?
Not quite sure what the final decision was.
Oké, wat voor doen?
Dan gooit hij
Maybe
net op
just trying to
zichzelf.
move that red out the way
Blijf
with the,
uitgaan.
I know, they're moving the corner guard. Sorry, the centre guard. That's a nice result. Look, he's really cleared out the centre, Michael Brunner.
Ja, sowieso.
Everything's nice and open now.
Ergens 8 voet is al goed.
There
hè,
are
als je
now
daar
3
bent.
dangerous
acht, ja.
yellows
Zelfs
hanging
hier is
around
uiteindelijk je marge.
Ja, let op die
on
hè.
the left of our screen there. That little
zegt
red in the
vol
forefoot
Ja.
is still shot, but it's getting a wee bit lonely. Let's take a look again. Lovely shot from Michael Brunner.
Ja. Je hebt voor een tekst heb ik gegund.
So he does spring that yellow out of the forefoot, but he won't mind that too much because he moved that dangerous red from
En
the front of house,
marge is zeg maar...
and he's still got 3 yellows hanging around. This end building nicely then for Schwaller.
Buiten die lijn, freeze op die buitenste.
Ja. Kijk eens nu.
If they can get a mistake from Netherlands, they may be able
Ja,
to
top
bring
4 eigenlijk.
all those yellows back into play.
Oké. 4-5. Oké, 4-1. Is goed. Ja. Moet vol 8 zijn. Oké. 4-1. Vol 8. Top 4 is ideaal.
This looks like it's going to be what I would call an insurance shot from Walter. He wants to nudge up against those yellows, make sure that this red is not easy to remove, make sure there's no double takeout, and thereby cancelling really all of those dangerous yellows hanging around the 12 foot.
Oh, back force, oké.
Oh, dan. Oh, gewoon zitten, laat zitten.
Hoofd vanaf.
Clean, yep.
Clean's always a nice sound to hear.
Maar stem uit.
Perfect.
Great shot again, Wouter. Really reliable with that T-weight.
Ja.
And you can see that that's immediately, well, not cancelled exactly, but it's immediately made it very difficult to bring those yellows back into play.
Ja, ik dacht al, volgens mij...
I don't think there's a double takeout on the reds.
Maar zelfs al ben je back 8.
Nou, ja, maar dan moet je wel de lijn houden. Hè, want
And again, if Schwaller wants to score anything here with last shot,
dan heeft hij wel de dubbel.
Ja.
at some point he has to do something about that red.
Dus daarom dacht ik van...
In the forefoot in the middle.
Als ze nog een keer back
But they're
for
currently
back
discussing
eight willen,
what can they do about this
dan leg je hem aan deze kant.
second red that's now lying second shot.
Back 4. Toen dacht ik, oké, back 4, dezelfde hoogte. Ja, goed genoeg.
Ja, precies.
Als je ernaast ligt, is goed.
You can see those three yellows
En
so
toen knulde je,
tempting
toen was hij in
there.
één keer perfect. Ja. Nou,
So nicely set up for a nice big score, but great shot from Wouter
in freeze ligt hij nog steeds geen shot.
to really cancel that danger at the moment.
Also was, wir machen den Freeze. Wenn er blastet, dann haben wir nicht viel.
They are a very difficult team to beat, this Netherlands team.
Ja. Ja.
Misschien gaat
Is
ze
het
dat
dan
ook wel
wees
doen.
besser, wenn
Nee.
man stickert? Ja. Nein, ich will entweder Dead Tap oder so. Ich finde den Freeze auch okay.
Didier's joined us in the chat. Hi, Didier. Maybe he's the Cruz fan,
Ook veel
being
discussie.
from Lausanne Club, and the Cruz is from Geneva Club, or maybe there's a rivalry, I'm not too sure.
Ai, top. Ja,
A lot of discussion
Goed
going on
gewacht.
again, but like we said,
gewoon vertrouwen dat hij valt.
really every stone now in this game.
Zelfs als je back
We've
4
got
bent, dan lig
3
je
stones to
ernaast,
come
maar
here
dat
in
is
the
goed.
6th end, and 2 ends after that, so every stone very important from now on.
Also das sind wir
Important that they make the right decision
Dan moet je
here.
wel de lijn hebben. Dan moet je hem zo hebben, dat deze hier ligt. Want anders heeft hij die dubbel.
Ja, nein, toch, wir werden es ja probieren.
Dus kopje thee.
Ja, kopje thee.
I can update you from sheet 1. Joe return as his team. They reliably
Freeze.
get on with it, I must say. They
Dekter, ja.
tend not to hang around too much.
Want, ja.
They scored 1 in the
volgens mij
6th
kan die.
end, and that
Ja.
means Husley team are 4-3 still ahead after 6 ends. Team Husley 4-3 up on Joe Returnaz's team.
Nou,
They don't
eerst
look
maar
too
eens
worried, the
kijken waar hij
Italians.
gooit.
Ja, maar
They've
moeten
been
we
this
even
kind of
vragen.
situation
Dat is wel een lastig paardje.
many times before. But credit to the young Husley rink on their 4th game today. Not running out of gas anytime soon by the look of it. So, another chance for us to use our
Als je hem heel goed
judgment
maakt, kan je zelfs gewoon voor de nose-nose gaan. Want
on
hij
the
ligt al
hog-to-hog
back 4.
timer.
Galopin!
Ja, dat misschien wel een hele goede call is eigenlijk.
Goed, bin ich gut? Ian lang? Oder? Nein, oh! Linie kommt gut, bis vorne. Galopin immer genug.
13.75, so this is definitely over T-line. We'd be looking for around 14 seconds for direct T-line. Yeah, indeed, about back of the 8-foot kind of weight.
Ja, je moet hem zo spelen eigenlijk, als je hem wil blijven.
Nice effort there
Yeah.
from Yannick Schwaller.
De vraag is, gaat hij
Again,
eruit?
hard to remove that yellow, not
Ik denk in
impossible,
ieder geval wel uit
but
acht,
hard
dat
to
je
remove
stikt
that
deze
yellow.
hierop.
Even if you make the double takeout, even if you sacrifice your own red,
Ja.
not an
Je moet
easy
hem gewoon
shot
hier
coming up.
raken. Met Piel.
Ja. Andere call is nose-nose. Dat vind ik ook niet erg
Ja.
hoor, maar
Maar ik denk dat hij er wel ligt.
ik denk dat hij kan.
Toch? Er zit een halve steen tussen. Als je een kwart raakt. Hij moet uit de
Hij gaat in
achtervoet.
ieder geval hierheen, toch?
Als hij beter, minder goed ligt als
Want
hij
je
is, hij
stikt
goed
ook deze nog hier.
Oké, Piel. Gewoon Piel.
Ja.
Ja, kwart.
Nee, ja, schwierig ist es
Ja.
nicht. Obwohl, sie sind der Reform des
Hoi. Ja, moet uit de achtervoet. Er zit net geen halve steentjes.
Wie der, wo du vorher im letzten Spiel warst, im
Kwart raken.
dritten. Aber er muss nicht so weit bewegen.
Piel.
Last shot for Netherlands then at the 6th end.
Yep.
Important shot here
Yep.
for Wouter.
Hard, hard. Yep. Dun, hard. Hard! Hard!
Yep, hard op geel. Hij is
He was
goed.
sweeping it all the way.
Hij is goed.
Great shot, Wouter Huskens.
Makkie.
So he does make the double takeout.
Goed veegt.
Sacrifices his
Yeah.
own red in the forefoot, but what a great place his shooter found.
Ja, ik dacht we raken hem, dus gewoon
No chance to bring all of those tasty yellows back into play. Look at that.
Dan ga je
No chance to bring those yellows back into play. 2 reds, absolutely safe in front of them.
Dat dacht ik. Want
Schwaller's got no choice but to draw for 1 point here.
dit ijs curlen wij steden niet, maar omdat ze soms iets curlen, dacht ik. Alright. Maar
Fabulous shot again
opnieuw, hè.
from
Oké.
Wouter
Ja,
Huskens.
dat is wel wat ik in trainingen gooide. Dus dat is ook
So
wel
let's
iets
practice our
tot het
hog-to-hog
net
timing
daarvoor
again. We're looking for about 14 seconds.
Nou, dan zijn we dit end ook weer over.
Just over for a nice T-line wait
goed force, man.
Ja, het
for
zag-
Yannick Schwaller.
het zag er even spannend uit.
I think he's got, yeah, he's almost got the whole 8 foot.
Nou,
He'd love to touch the 4 foot.
het
Sweepers
is in de
standing off it a little bit, but I think this is fine by itself. Yeah, no trouble there. Exactly, T-line. Good save there from Schwaller, but again, they'll be a little bit annoyed that
Oké.
they were only managing to score 1 point. They were setting up the end really nicely,
Ja, boys. Lekker hoor. Goeie force. Oké.
but even if you set up the end nicely, you still need a mistake from your opposition
Ook weer 2
to
pakken.
make use of that opportunity, and
Maar nu
no mistake, 2
2 hands geleden van
great shots from Wouter Huskens.
ook heel goed. Dus Joanna, zei ik dat in de eerste game? Gaan we doen. Ik denk het ook, ja.
Ja. Precies, dan gewoon op die tweede tik, toch? Voor corner rollen. Ja.
Knap für den Ehren. Jetzt fühlen wir bringen Joyce, was meinst du? Okay. Hier, mal. Nummer nice. Ich kann drüber.
Welcome back to the 7th end of this quarter-final in this first edition of the Adelboden International WCT Men's Tour. Fascinating game out there this evening.
Oké,
We've got the
T-line big four.
big-hitting Schwaller team, current European silver medalists, against the up-and-coming Van Dorp team, who were vice champions at the Baden Masters 2 weeks ago. Play a very aggressive game
Alleen lengte.
with lots of stones in play,
Close. Nee, is goed. Kom back for.
and you can see really even lineup. It's 3 each after 6 ends, and Van Dorp's team now have last shot in the 7th end.
Alright, mistake, Carlo.
Goed call, hè?
Now this tactic typically
Eine bis 2 Meter.
suggests that
Ja.
Van Dorp's team may be looking for a blank. That's exactly what they would like in this situation. 8-end games.
Easy man. Er ist Linie.
Helpfully answers your question from the chat as well, Gretchen. Yes, games are 8 ends in this competition. If scores are even after 8 ends, there is 1 extra end. If somehow that extra end is blank, then there is the 1-shot last stone draw to decide the winner.
Gewoon de intern tik.
With that
Oké,
in
maar
mind,
ja,
then,
dan kan je je
First
corner
is
rollen,
oké.
toch?
Come back line.
Van Dorp's team
Okay.
would love it if they
Zo
could get a
best wel
blank this
close,
end.
deze back 8.
The score would remain at
Zijn
3
haartje
each,
erbij.
and Van Dorp's team would have last stone in the all-important 8th end. And that's what their initial shot suggests they're going for. They don't want to get drawn into a game towards the centre here. Carlo
Zizek!
Glasbergen being
Link!
asked therefore for a tick
Zizek!
shot. He
Yep.
just wants to move these yellow shots off the line. They're still protected by
Yep.
the free guard zone.
Zizek!
Oh. Forced it.
Bijna hek!
Forced it.
He's got a nice edge of it again.
Ja.
He maybe didn't move that yellow quite as far as he wanted, but it's off the centre line.
Goeie call, ja.
Yannick Schwaller having a bit of a think about where to
Ja.
put a stone.
Ja, nee, ik wil...
Ja. Is goed.
Als niks spelen mag.
Goed dat we eraf gaan. Want anders chip je hem zo dun, zeg maar.
Yannick Schwaller, on the other hand, what they would like from the 7th end,
Ja.
Alright.
they would quite like it if they could force Jaap van Dorp to score 1
Pretty
point.
good.
Reason being, then they would have last shot
Ah, joh.
in
We
the
maken
8th
hem.
end, and that would give them a chance to build some stones.
Dat kunnen we.
It's an age-old question in curling. Would you rather be plus 1 point in the last end, but you don't have last shot, or would you rather be minus 1 point in the last end and you do have last shot?
Ja. Is goed.
Ja, joh. Gewoon ons ding blijven doen. Gewoon niet gefrustreerd doorraken. Gewoon ding blijven doen.
In the 4 rock free guard zone situation,
Ja.
it was very much simply a matter of personal preference. You will have people who will argue all day that it's better to be plus 1 and not have the hammer, or better to be minus 1 but with the hammer. And statistically, if we look at the data, if we apply science, it's actually 50-50.
Nou, hij gooit come around, maar hij is
No
nu
right or
apart.
wrong answer there. It was really just a matter of personal preference, which situation gave you more confidence.
Kijk.
But I think with the 5 rock free guard zone, I have an idea that statistic might move a little bit. And speaking of 5 rock free guard zone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zones in play. Free guard zone is finished, and now Lawrence Hoekman will be asked to start removing these guards. Netherlands don't really want shots in play in the 7th end.
Blijf bij deze. Nee, hij gaat achterlangs. Oké, top.
Lovely shot.
Veeg maar
Look
uit.
at that.
Ja.
Lawrence Hoekman and Romano Meyer having a real battle at second there. Both of them having really solid game.
Bal. Ja. Ja. Er zit zoveel actie op, dat zagen we in de training ook. Nee. Ik had eigenlijk verwacht dat hij nog meer daarin zou gaan.
We can see over on ring 1,
Ja,
the
klopt. Maar
Italian
hij ging
team
echt recht naar achter.
stole a point there in that 7th end.
Ik had
They're now in their
verwacht-
8th end, and the score is 4 each, with the young team Husley having the hammer here in this 8th end. So exciting finish to that game.
Hoi. Nou, hit en flop.
I think they were almost about to
helemaal naar
lap
rechts.
the
Alleen
game of
shot.
Tivinsoni and Todzek, who've only just finished their 6th end. And the result there was a 1 to Todzek,
Ik denk
and
dat
that
dat
makes
de
the
beste
score
is. Als je peelt, speel je hem.
that makes the score on rink 3 5-2 to Tivinsoni. And Tivinsoni has hammer in the 7th end.
Gewoon met die.
Interesting goings on rink 4 as well. The score between Peter de Cruz and Jan Hess is 6 each after 6 ends. De Cruz's team picking up a big 4 in the 3rd end, and Jan Hess's team picking up a 2, then a 1, then another 1 to grab all 4 points back again.
Yep. Hard. Yep. Heel hard.
4
Yep.
really interesting games out there this evening.
Yep. Oh. Oh. Lekker hoor. Top. Goeie komen op.
Nice.
Zo hard of was het maar... Oh, okay.
Another nice stone there from Laurent Hoekman,
Zo was het.
having a really solid game. And Didier in the chat says Van Dorp's had a good start this season. I totally agree with you. They were vice champions at the Baden Masters. They beat Yannick Schwaller's team on the way. And we shouldn't be surprised that, as I said, this team just keeps on popping up now in semi-finals and finals at the big events.
Wat wil hij eigenlijk?
Not such a surprise anymore to see them at the back end of a competition.
Nee, laten we ons ding doen.
Ja.
Gewoon hekken. Als je kan.
Ja, ik denk het wel. Ja, dat is ideaal. Maar we moeten even oppassen zodat ze niet
Ja,
lucht
op
op die
hetzelfde.
natuurlijk.
Als ze niet shot liggen. Als je geen shot... Oh, hij gooit een guard.
Ja, gooit de guard. Ja.
They'll certainly
Ik dacht dat
fancy
hij buiten acht gooide.
taking another win off Schwaller
Misschien doet
this
Hij
evening.
wil echt guard, zeg maar.
Schwaller will have other ideas. trying to use that centre guard now.
Ja.
And actually putting up another centre
Maar ik dacht nog
guard.
steeds gewoon...
En denk hier.
Really nice separation from
Ja.
those stones there. A difficult
ik dacht
double
misschien dit.
Nou,
to
laten we
remove
niet
both
te
of them at
maar
once.
raken.
Ja,
Als je hier bent, dan gaat hij eromheen en heb je de run.
ja, precies. Gewoon half open hier toch?
Ja,
Drie
als je,
kwart open.
ik zeg 3/4 open.
Oké. Denk dit?
Ja. Je kan, desnoods ben je vol open buiten 8.
Ja, dat is ook best goed. Ja.
Oké, gewoon ja, vol 8, 3/4 open.
Actually, while we're thinking about this 50-50 statistic, as in, would you rather be -1 point in the last end, but you have hammer, or would you rather be +1 point in the last end, but you don't have hammer? I watched a very intriguing game between Yannick Schwaller and Kevin Kui. I believe it must have been at the World Cup or something like that. It was, I think it was this season, just before the summer, or well, presumably before everything shut down. Let's time Jaap van Dorp's draw here, looking for about 14 seconds hog to hog.
Alleen lengte, vol 12.
Then we'll come back to that previous game I mentioned.
Hard, zo ver mogelijk.
Hardloop. Ja.
Now he wants to call Yannick Schwaller's bluff and go straight in
Vol
behind
12.
those centre guards.
Moet
Oh,
er.
helemaal door jongens, helemaal door.
Ooh, 14.6.
Oké,
I think
vol
this
12
is
is goed. Oh, maar
Oh, oh.
vol
yeah,
12.
pulling up a little bit short, so they're
Full
just going to
12.
leave it there in the front ring.
Oké, goed geveegd jongens.
Ah, goede bal, Jaap.
Yeah, I was
wel een
watching
beetje kort.
a game in,
Ja,
I,
klopt.
I
Maar hij
think
is
it was the
helemaal
World Cup or
open.
the Continental Cup, something like that. The one where North America plays against Europe, and I know it was Yannick Schwaller that was playing. I'm sure it was Kevin Kui,
Oké, goed geveegd jongens.
and they had a decision. I think Schwaller was +2, something like that, in the 7th end, and Kui had already won sitting and had
Ja.
easy shot, open draw to make 2 points, and they instead decided to remove their own stone because they fancied their chance better, picking up 3 points
Ja.
with last shot in the 8th end rather than being level but not having last shot in the 8th end. So I hope that didn't overcomplicate matters trying to explain it, but I remember Yannick Schwaller's expression when he saw them removing their own stone rather than take 2 points, and my expression was pretty similar, and indeed that game did not work out for them.
Wacht maar. Nee.
So again, looking for about 14 seconds, so
Neem maar lang.
this one maybe a little bit too big actually. He maybe saw Jaap van Dorp's stone and maybe misread the ice a little bit, so that one's sailed on a little bit from Michael Brunner.
Ja. Backline. Als je die split is oké.
Je wil ietsje open rollen toch?
Ja. Backline.
Ja. Oké, 3-9.
I must say, typically I would rather be +1 and not have hammer in the last end, and I do think that the 5 rock free guard zone, I think that might tilt the statistic in that favour as well. But let's concentrate on our feature game today.
Yep. Clean. Clean.
It looks like Schwaller may have his wish here that he is getting to draw stones into
Yep, voor de
play.
wall.
Remember, we thought Van Dorp
Yep, nooit eraf.
might be more
Nooit eraf.
interested in a blank end, but
Yep,
golly, that's a good
eentje,
sweep.
eentje.
Oké, sorry.
That is good.
Oké, goed geveegd boys.
There's definitely space for Schwaller to come up to it, but he's lying 4 reds against at the moment,
Ja, ik ben zo de freeze.
and that is never an easy shot.
Het is zo goed zijn kijken. Niet veel,
And
maar zo
Van Dorp
mee.
does have last stone here in this
Ik dacht
7th
dat we
end,
nog wel moesten... Ja, ik weet niet.
and there
Ik
will
dacht
be
dat we nog wel moesten wachten.
no
op het
shenanigans
begin.
if he can pick up
Ja,
a
dat
2 or a
dacht ik
3. I think they gladly will.
Ja, het is moeilijk omdat je niet precies weet wat de lengte is. Maar
Nee,
als dit sessie hek was geweest, dan was ja.
zo ermee, ja. Maar ze called back 8, dus daarom ging ik halverwege al op.
Ja, klopt.
Oké.
Ja, hij tapt hem goed, maar ja, je laat wel de freeze liggen.
Klopt. Ja.
Definitely space there for Schwaller.
Dus gewoon waarschijnlijk achteraan, toch?
Ja.
Gewoon,
But a lot of danger here as well.
maar wil je dan ook...
You can see a whole heap of reds flying around.
Steppen zodat ik met mijn laatste iets kan doen.
We'll get an indication of how accurate his weight is for the hog to hog.
Schön wie Sonne, Linie kommt okay, wenn dann cello.
13.7, that's
Okay.
about the same as Michael Brunner's. He's got enough weight to move that red, I think, but his line's lovely.
Okay.
Great shot there from Schwaller, that had to be good.
Zandbal is jou nu. Ja,
Nou,
want dan freestyle maar op.
ja.
Looks like
Nou, op
Schwaller's
zich
plan
is
B
het
have
niet
worked
slecht,
then.
Als je deze gewoon hierin tapt,
He wanted to draw
inderdaad,
Van
hij moet de
Dorp's team
freestyle best
into
wel goed maken, want
getting
deze
stones
staat
into
dan in
play this
principe
end. He didn't want
nergens
Van Dorp to have
heen. Als je hem dan gewoon kan
the
pikken.
chance to blank this
Ja.
end and hang
Dus
on
zeg
to
maar,
last
als
shot
jij
for the
nu
8th
hier
end.
bent,
De winkelsteam
Ja.
gepikt.
freestyle maar op. En dit? Is dat heel gek?
Kan.
While they're looking at their
Wat
angles,
gebeurt als je
deciding
hem alleen peelt, gooit hij hem hier.
what's the right shot, let's
Ja.
take a look at the other games. All very close affairs, as we expect for quarterfinals.
Het is helemaal goed als je
Returnaz
zo rijdt
versus
van-
Husley on
Ja.
sheet 1.
Het is alleen als
That's
je net iets
still
aan de
4
buitenkant
each.
bent,
They're
ja,
still
dan
in their
zet ik
8th
daar
end.
over, hè.
Over on sheet
Ik
4,
denk
De
dat dit
Cruz
de call
versus
zijn.
Hess.
Ik denk dat dit de call is.
Oké.
So De Cruz
Gewoon
did
op zijn
manage to
neus.
blank that
Ja.
7th end because he
Goed.
wants to hang
Nee,
on
acht
to
alleen. Ja, deze
last shot
kant
in the
is
8th
weg,
end.
hè?
So they're now in their 8th
Nee.
end.
Hij is helemaal open.
And the
Nee,
score
nee,
is
maar ik
6
bedoel, ik wou
each.
eigenlijk zo gooien.
Oh ja, dan wel.
And
Hoe hard?
Achteraf.
bringing up the rear time-wise in this session, it's the game on sheet 5.
Ja, ik weet niet. Want als je aan
They're
de
still in their
binnenkant
7th
komt,
end,
dan
like
is het
we
ook
are,
goed.
and
Ja,
that's
Dus eigenlijk deed ik gewoon
5-2.
normaal.
Terensoni is leading
Wel deze
Team
uit
Totsik.
Ja, oké, ja. Want als je, je moet hem pielen.
Ja.
Gewoon 8.
Ja.
Control peel voor mij.
Ja.
Ja, het is gewoon als je hem freeze dan... Ja, ja dan ben je gewoon...
Ik zeg split end precies.
Ja. Hoe best?
8.
Ja, niet zwingend.
Ja.
Dus is de kaart.
Recht op zijn neus. Haartje naar de binnenkant, zelfs goed.
Dan mag je nog goed ook. Ja.
Maar bij deze hebben we niet in kunnen. Ja. Met de brutaal uitgekleed.
While we were looking then at the other sheets, I'm not quite sure what the final decision here was, but it looks like whatever it is, it will be coming in at pace.
Dat is te veilig zitten. Vol.
Af. Close.
So-
Oh.
Bit of an extra shove there from Walter.
Rol maar weg, rol maar weg.
Easy. Stikken.
Kijk.
So I'm not quite, as I said, not quite sure what the decision was, but that at least opens things out.
Oké. Ja.
Ja, voor.
That might change the thinking a little bit of the Netherlands. They may say to themselves, what if Yannick Schwaller gets one here?
Naar de center toe met je
Oké.
Then
Oké.
Van Dorp's team would be in the position of -1 point, but they would hang on to hammer in the last end. And maybe they feel more comfortable
Ja,
playing from that situation.
kan wel denk ik.
Aber weißt du, wenn dann da kann anspielen.
Maar ja, ik denk dat we sterk zijn met 1 up.
That would not be a ridiculous tactic at all. If Van Dorp said, hey, let's just give Yannick Schwaller 1 point,
Ja.
then we keep last shot,
En in time.
Ik zat te denken, als hij
and
nu buiten 4
we feel confident to score 2 points in the 8th end.
was voor 4.
Prima kan je dat match.
Jawel,
possible.
want die stukje
Ja.
daar, op 1 shoot heb je op zijn neus.
Ja, oké.
Ja, dat is gewoon voor 4. Als hij buiten 4 legt,
Nee, maar hij legt hem aan die kant, hè, dus je moet
Oh.
hem over de top.
oké, dan is hij voor 3.
Now Schwaller will be aware of that,
Als hij hem aan die kant legt,
and he may not want to give Van Dorp any chance to
ja.
dictate the end to them in that way either.
Als hem daar neerlegt, heel graag.
Ja, dat is een mooie plek.
Wat?
It's like everyone is laughing at Roman Amara's suggestion. I'm not quite sure what it was.
Heel niet slim zegt, zeg maar.
Was ich? So.
Sinds wanneer is hij aan
Geht
hard
doch
team?
nicht mehr, hè?
Okay, let's all pull ourselves together here. Yannick Schwaller's team.
Er is altijd één iemand die dan helemaal naar de hoofdkant komt en dan gewoon
This is an
zegt
important
waarvan je
game.
denkt, dude,
That's enough giggles.
dit is waarom jij gewoon beter niet kan zeggen. Ja, zij lachen erom, beter dan dat je die persoon negeert. Dat was echt zielig.
Ja. Geen naam noemen, hè? Maar,
Nee.
Ja.
Nee, want dan heb ik het gedaan, hè? Wordt allemaal opgenomen.
Zeker. Pak zie je.
Dus waarschijnlijk gewoon de
I think the call was
gewoon de
always
draw.
Ja.
Oké, dan
more or
Cello.
less
Als die kort
T-weight
is, kan je trouwens ook nog kijken.
or front of house weight.
Vangen.
I think they were discussing exactly where they wanted this stone to land up though.
En 12 zijn easy, easy. 12 is easy.
Sounds like top 12, the front of house is the call, and 15.8.
Good. Clean, clean, clean.
That's
Ja, gewoon
certainly a nice
Ja.
weight, so yeah, better short
Ja, dat
than
we één
too
up,
deep into the
sterkste.
house for that stone. Two stones to come then for Netherlands and one more for Switzerland.
Mee eens toch? 1 up zijn we sterker dan 1 down. Oké. Ja, wel, die ik net heb gegooid. Maar dat is de verkeerde kant. Gewoon vol 4. Weer 4-1.
Straightforward idea here.
Okay.
Walter playing his usually reliable T-weight
Moet er goed vol 4 zijn.
to sneak in behind that centre guard. Schwaller happy to force the issue. They want Van Dorp to score one, remember. And it's time Walter's T-weight.
Voelt zacht.
Looking for about
Hij is goed.
14 seconds, just over.
10 lijn, jongens. 10 lengte.
That would
Kill
tell us
niet.
that the weight's
Kan nog
pretty
niet zo
good.
heel veel. Maar kom maar door.
The sweepers are giving it
Hard low.
a big
Yep.
help.
Hard boys.
14.7. They maybe
Sowieso
need
vol
a
4.
little bit,
Gewoon op de 10 lijn.
sweeping for length.
Lijn is perfect.
Oh, looks not too bad though.
Top. Maar steen uit.
That was last shot, so nice save there from Walter. Schwaller's team got their way. They did force a score.
Ja, blijf gewoon hier toch? We gaan
Ja.
beginnen. Top. Goed fake boys.
They
Duidelijk.
don't mind giving up
Ja,
the win there,
sowieso. Als je
because that
uiteindelijk
means
stilt, ideaal natuurlijk.
they have last
Maar
shot.
gewoon,
Eerst
this
de
eighth
force
end.
en dan de steal kan
So let's
laten.
see
we
how
weten
that
dat
works
ze
out,
sowieso
shall we?
shit in het spel gooien, dus.
We are
Maar gewoon
in
zoals
that
2 jaar
situation
geleden was
that
het
causes
gewoon
endless discussion
Dat is
indeed.
het plan.
Sowieso.
And we're about to see another data point.
Ja.
Ja, thanks man.
Ja, also, das kann nicht. Das ist mir schwierig.
Eighth end here in this quarter
Top
final.
8, buiten 4.
Our featured game here at the first Adelboden International WCT Men's Tour. 4 fascinating games out there this evening.
Best wel. Blijf erop.
Even wachten.
Lenen. Yep. Buiten 4.
One of which has
Top,
just
mooi sterk,
finished.
Top. Nummer 2.
And I can tell you, if you're one of the many Timonzoni fans tuning in this weekend, then you will be happy because Savannah Timonzoni's team have just shaken hands or bumped fists with Todzek's team from Germany. And Savannah Timonzoni is the first team qualified for the semi-final tomorrow morning. Congratulations to them. They scored a 2 in the 7th end, making the score 7-2. And that was enough for Team Todzek. I think, yeah, no sense playing on. They're not going to score a 5 against Timonzoni. Congratulations, Savannah and her team. They are first team qualified for the semi-final. They will be watching closely the game on sheet 4, the Cruz versus Hess, because whoever wins that game,
Lijn is ietsje wijder.
2-3.
that will be their opposition for tomorrow morning's semi-final.
Yep.
2.
Yep.
2 max.
Yep.
2 max.
Could be either team at the moment in that game.
Hard boys.
6 each in the 8th end for the Cruz and Hess.
Oké.
I think a Savannah Tivizzoni versus Peter de Cruz game. I think that
Doe
would
het gewoon in.
certainly
Dat
be
is
pretty exciting
weerbaar.
for curling fans.
Lekker man. Ik denk dat dat gewoon wel
If
echt
Hess goes on
belangrijk
to
is
win.
dat de lijn goed is.
It sounds like that will be a great matchup as well.
Ja, ja.
Ja, zeker.
Goed.
Daarom, als hij een baseline te dieper is. Nee. Volgende
Sheets
steen.
1 and 2, the winners will play each other in the other semi-final.
Je doet er gewoon
Both
in,
of those
ja.
games on their 8th and final end.
Of niet?
On sheet 1, the score is 4 each. In the game between Joel Returnas from Italy and the Hösli Rink from Switzerland, from Glarus Club here in Switzerland.
Nou, misschien.
You can see the Hösli brothers just on the left of our screen in their red jackets.
Oké.
Looks like this is the last shot of their game, so we'll have a result there pretty
Hier nog
soon.
wat?
Nice.
Oké. Ja. Hetzelfde als 2
And
jaar geleden
meanwhile,
of
here
zo.
in our featured game,
Ja. Ja, 11,5 is nog steeds goed.
we're also in our 8th end, and the score is 4-3 to Jaap van Dorp from Netherlands over Yannick Schwaller. But Schwaller with last stone here in this 8th end.
Hek. Clean.
Schwaller needing to score at least 1 to take it to an extra end. And ideally, they would love to score 2.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Yep. Yep. Oh, oh.
They haven't got it around that guard. That seems to be a little bit their Achilles heel, the Van Dorp team. Very reliable with their weight,
Kilo.
but just from time to time, catching a guard, not quite getting their line right.
Ja. Goed gegooid. Ja, als je maar uit hebt, is het wel best wel leuk.
Was de roll onder hier zitten?
Ja. Dit was gewoon hek.
Goed, yep. Gut. Nein, ich habe noch überlegt, den herum, aber ich finde das gut. Ich finde den Ding gut, der Roll.
Ja.
Ja. So halb versteckt wäre super.
Huh?
Halb versteckt wäre super.
Oh, golly. You can see just on the left of our screen there, it looks like the game on sheet 1, with Joe Returnas in the blue uniforms versus Team Hösli, the Swiss team. It looks like that's going to a measure, so that could not be any closer or more exciting. Goes to the last stone of the 8th end, and then a measure.
Kijk, Emmer.
Moet je springen, moet je springen. Zijn al mee. Hebben.
Daarbij.
Hoi, gewoon dit
So,
erop.
yep, nice effort
Ja.
from Romana Maya, as usual.
Denk gewoon 10 hier. Zal niet zoveel doen.
Ja. Split center.
Oh, there you can just see
Ja, gewoon split center rollen.
the elder Hösli brother Philip putting. Oh no, sorry, that's not Philip. He's the younger one. You can just see Hösli putting up the score there, and after a measure,
Clean.
Joe Returnas
Yep.
finds a way to win.
Yep.
5-4
Wacht. Yep.
into Joe Returnas from Italy versus
Rol hem. Rol. Yep.
the young Hösli team from
Right.
Switzerland. Super
9,5.
effort from Team
Yeah.
Hösli in this competition.
Okay.
As we said,
Yeah.
that's their 4th game today, and to keep that going to a measure in the last shot of the 8th end. Great performance from them. I hope they're satisfied with their weekend's work.
Ja.
They've earned themselves a prize of 300 francs, which pretty much pays for their entry.
Goed. Yep.
And they had some super wins this weekend.
Laatste
And there's
over.
Hij zei nog wel echt
certainly no shame losing such a close game to
gewoon goed bezig.
the current
We waren
European bronze medalists in Joe Returnas.
Oké.
Daar.
But that means that Returnas' team are our second qualifiers for the semi-final tomorrow. And they will play the winner of our featured game here.
met de in.
Ja.
Ja.
Weet
This
dat
game
hij.
has been tight the whole
Derde?
way.
Dat is niet genoeg. Ja. Nee, een haartje minder.
Dit is wat, ja.
That yellow.
We hadden dit. En
The
toen
8
kwamen we
that's
zeg maar
currently
hier
shot,
toch?
but
Ja.
Schwaller will not be
Okay.
relying on that to win a game. He knows he'll have to get
Come back.
closer to the middle
Voor de TC ideaal, maar als je back forwards, oké.
to win
Ja,
this end. Remember,
Inderdaad, ja.
Schwaller needs at least 1 point in this end just to take it to the extra end. And they'd rather score 2. They do have last shot. Netherlands doesn't have last shot. Therefore, they really want to get one buried in behind those 2 shots on the centre line.
Oké, lijn is goed.
And this game, our featured
Lijn
game,
is goed.
is now
Easy line, easy line.
the only game out
Clear.
there. Let's see
Easy
where this
line.
shot ends.
Close.
Easy line, and I think
Yep.
easy
Je hebt
weight.
blauw. Je hebt blauw. Yep. Je hebt blauw. Hard. Yep.
I think this is all there by itself weight-wise.
Oh, voor de T, voor de T.
But yeah, lovely
goed.
effort from Jaap van
Moest er gewoon
Dorp,
echt gaan, je
Look
kon
at
hem nooit chippen.
covering the pin.
Oké, Jaap.
Top, goeie call.
This our featured game is the last game still out there. I have a third result for you, and canny old Peter de Cruz blanked the 7th end,
Yeah.
hung on to last stone at the 8th end, and scored a 1 in the 8th end to win that game 7-6. And he is the third qualifier for the semi-final, so we have
Beste draw
3
ooit.
teams confirmed in the semi-finals already. And listen to this, semi-final 2 is Silvana Tirenzoni versus Peter de Cruz. That's well worth getting up early on a Sunday morning for.
Daar gaan we vers spuiten.
Vraag 1.
Ja. Vind je oké?
And the third confirmed semi-finalist, Joe Returnaz, they are awaiting the winner of our featured game here.
Ja. Dan gewoon zeker eromheen zijn, want als je een chip is echt zo
And unfortunately for Joel, I can imagine that
Ja.
most people will be really excited about a Tirenzoni de Cruz game. It ends up that we haven't seen any of Joel's games, sadly, this weekend so far, which is a pity, as the Returnaz team is always a lot of fun to
Wil je
watch.
hem zelf misschien ook free
Gevoel heb
Nee, eens.
Thanks.
Moet gewoon even goed kijken. Want hij heeft natuurlijk wat je zegt.
But let's concentrate on this one. We need our 4th semi-finalist before we start getting excited about that lineup. Schwaller with last stone, and we're on 3rd rocks here in the 8th end of this 4th quarter final.
Ga net te vlag.
Oh, sorry.
Ga net te vlag. Rand nog.
So I agree with Gretchen in the chat. I will also be setting my alarm. That's going to be a really exciting game to watch. And speaking of exciting games to watch,
Nice.
we're right at the end of an exciting game here.
Oké.
Lovely
Gewoon
shot by
even voor
Michael Brunner.
informatie, wij leggen shot.
We've seen that shot many times. That even though the red is
Ja,
probably
zit
still
overal
closest to
kort,
the middle,
Ja.
that yellow is nice and safe there.
Dat is ook
The
goed.
red's a bit
Ja.
vulnerable behind
Dit
it,
is ideaal.
duidelijk.
and that yellow's pretty safe. What can
Bijna.
Netherlands do?
Ja, bijna hetzelfde. Ja, is goed.
They can try to protect that red a little bit by putting something in front, and it looks like indeed they're trying to get to the inside of the yellow shot,
Yep, hij scoort.
Oké, kom maar dan.
and they will thereby take away the
Yep,
Hard
kom maar.
boys.
raise
Momentan is het
on that yellow to red.
Yep,
Hard boys.
yep,
Aber
yep.
toch niet zo einfach momentan.
Ho.
Yeah, Van Dorp
Oh,
doesn't mind
anders
too
ook
much
guilty.
if Yannick Schwaller
Oh.
has to score 1,
Oh,
because that
dan hebben we
means
er nog wat
we will
aan.
go to an extra end, but Netherlands would have last
Anders
shot.
overkill je gewoon, dan heb je er niks aan.
nog niet über centen.
I like that call then.
Nog
Ja.
über centen.
Dat is een goede call.
Nee, zelfs niet.
Just putting that red just in the front ring. Schwaller's got quite some work to do to score 2 and win the game outright
Ja,
here.
ja. Wat is
And he's got
Wat?
a bit of work at the moment to score 1.
Ja. Eerst, ja. Je gaat één nog zachter, ja. Vind je goed? Ja. Genau,
Indeed,
ja.
if any of the times don't suit
Hek vind ik
our
goed.
curling
Wil je de
fans,
rood?
Ja, backline denk ik.
all of these
Rood moet
games
bewegen, ja.
will be on
Ik
the
denk dat je wel die
WCT
stenen beweging.
TV
Nee, dat
YouTube
moet je-
channel.
Goed.
Het is heel vervelend, maar ik denk dat we...
There's one featured game every draw, and the static camera
Ja.
is
zet nummer
watching
1
the
erin,
games
maar
in
jij
ring
laat het
3
maar.
and 4
Kijk op.
every draw. So tons of curling from this first Adelboden International.
laat nooit wat aan die kant zien. Zij is zo overburied.
Ja, ja.
Catch up with games you missed or rewatch your favorite game.
Ja, of van zijn shooter.
So last shot in this eighth end for Michael Brunner.
Stop.
Ja.
Yes! Hi! Pieter!
Just squeaked in that front guard.
Hard chop,
Ah,
hard
jeez.
chop, hard chop, hard chop. Helemaal eruit.
He didn't quite get the angles right though.
Kijk al net.
Yeah, a bit of a
Sowieso.
rueful smile from Michael Brunner.
Even gewoon voor de... Dat
Similar situation now for the
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Maar ik denk
That
dat dit
red's
nu de
clearly
kans is, toch?
shot, but
Ja.
it is
Oké.
behind T. And there are those two yellows that are
overleg
dangerous
wel
out
even
front.
met hun. Ik ga het gewoon niet aantonen, maar...
Ja.
Hij heeft die rechtergele.
Ooh, so yeah, the angles didn't
Ja,
quite
maar die
work out
liggen rood
there.
is maar voor één, hè.
They were hoping to catch more of that red on the way past. This could be the
Ja,
half
maar als
chance
hij
that
rood heeft,
Netherlands are looking for.
Ik moet even in Nederlands praten. Zeg maar, als hij rood erin stoot, maakt niet uit. Het is meer erg als hij geel, want dat is voor 3. Maar laten we eerst de guard maken. Gewoon
Will
2,
this
toch?
be our next data
Ja,
point
niet te
in
diep, zeg maar.
the never-ending discussion about
2-3.
Ja.
having the advantage?
Okay.
If you're +1 without hammer or -1 with hammer. Let's see. 4 stones to come.
Oké, lijn is prio.
Nee.
Semi-finals are at 9
Okay,
o'clock
easy, easy.
tomorrow
Nee,
morning.
Carlo.
European.
Kult.
Do put the kettle on
easy.
and have your Sunday
Over en af.
breakfast and
Over en af.
come and join us
Oh, moet zitten.
here in the
Zit. Meer
remote
ruimte is
curling
beter.
club. We can all
Hey,
watch together.
Jawel.
Nice shot from Wouter.
Ja. Sorry?
Ja.
Nee, toch?
I think that's one of the easier shots that Wouter's been faced with in this game. He's been pulling some real crackers out for the team. And I think,
Yep.
yeah, that's probably one of his more simple shots.
Ja, ja, voll. Aber
Ik dacht al dat hij dat ging doen, maar ja, dat is oké.
It
Ja.
seems like this 9 o'clock in the evening
maar
draw,
dik
that
halen.
seems to be the most civilized for most of our curling fans.
Perfect maakt.
So not too late for Europe.
Ja,
Dat die
dan
twee-
A
natuurlijk
nice time
kan
for
het.
North America
Ja,
and
precies.
just in time for
Dus volgens mij heb je altijd best
New
wel
Zealand
bal.
tomorrow morning,
Ja.
so to say. Yeah, if you're on the East Coast, unfortunately, John, then 9 o'clock in the morning, not much good for you. As we said, all of these games will be in the video vault of the WCT TV YouTube channel.
Ik ken nog wel jaartjes. Hopelijk.
You can catch up whenever you like. So first shot from Yannick Schwaller, big shot here. He needs to give himself a chance with his last stone.
Dat als hij hem ervoor stikt, zeg maar, dan is het interessant. Dan moeten we even kijken wat hij doet.
nee, never. Never.
Never is the call. He's moving something.
Yep, ja.
Good.
Yeah, that seems to have worked out nice. Bit difficult to see from our angle, but yeah, you can see now that the yellow is now the shot. That did indeed
Oh, overburied.
move that
Ja.
red from
Zelfs dat.
its behind T position there. You could just see Michael Brunner catching that
Ja.
one with his foot. That had been hanging on for quite a long time.
Even kijken hoor.
Yeah,
voor mij
Romano
heb je
Meyer
hier, dus
assessing
voor jou dit.
what it looks
Ja.
like when everything
Hij heeft dan wel
stops.
dezelfde tap.
Ja, ja, net echt. Aber je,
Welke tab?
je net wil even-
Nou, als je hem daar gooit.
Ja, oké, maar je bent gewoon hier, hè?
Ja.
Mars is overal kort. Kijk, als je
Ja.
daar
Good
bent.
heavens,
Nee, maar
Gretchen.
even dat het duidelijk is. Joh, bijten.
Called in 6 so that you
Ja.
could watch curling instead. That's very bold.
Ja.
It's not unusual for me to have it on in the background in the office, certainly. Have a sneaky screen with a curling game on
Moet
it.
dus buiten dolly zijn om shot te zijn. Maar ja,
So
je
last
mag
stone
niet
in
te
this
diep zijn.
event coming up
0-4
for
is beter en geen shot
Netherlands
zijn,
and
zeg maar.
Wouter
Want anders heeft hij
Hoogstens.
gewoon de tap voor 2. Je moet hoog zijn zodat hij hem stuft.
It looks like they may be
Buiten dolly.
accepting that
Ja.
Schwaller
goed.
could score one
Dat
here,
gooi ik
but I think I just heard Wouter talk about the dolly, which would be right in the middle. He may be
Oké, het is gewoon
just trying to
buiten dolly.
straight out draw that yellow. And good luck to him.
Clean.
Always
easy
clean
liners
sweepers.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard
Over
boys.
line.
Hard boys.
Yep. Hard
We
jongens.
don't want bad luck
Hard.
taking over here.
Yep.
Let's
Yep.
give this a good scrub.
Yep. Hard boys. Yep.
He's going to need it all the
Maar
way.
gewoon door. Yep.
Ja,
Yep.
hou
Yep.
maar,
Yep.
hou
Yep.
maar, hou maar.
Oh, that's a unusual miss from Wouter there. He's normally really reliable with T-weight.
7.
Zo.
Bisschen, ja.
Ooh, that's a pity.
Vom Gefühl her wordt het einfach licht mehr, nicht viel.
Now, Yannick Schwaller
so-
definitely has a chance to score too.
Waar zit het zo kort?
Yeah, that's a shame, Wouter.
Ja.
Dat is hier
But
al,
not
toch?
so easy. Couple of guards out front that Schwaller needs to get round.
Ja, het is
He needs to be at least half of the stone
Nee.
in the 4-foot circle. But not too much pressure. They've definitely got an extra end. They're definitely scoring one. We can get an idea from the hog to hog
Schön euch.
what kind of
Noch grad.
weight Yannick's throwing here.
Linie kommt okay. Noch grad. Schön auf Tee. Alles euch. Schön auf Tee. Alles
He's not
euch.
bad.
13-4,
Richtung
ja.
7.
Ja, ik heb hem.
The sweepers are
Cello bleibt
ready
dran.
to pounce
Schön auf Tee.
immediately if they need to.
Het is gewoon super traag hier.
Look at that, with no backing.
Congrats, good luck.
Congrats.
Wow,
luck.
bravo,
Good luck, guys.
Schwaller.
Good luck.
Great shot from Yannick Schwaller there to seal that win.
Update, Yannick. Congrats. Good luck.
Congrats, good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, Van Dorp's team gave him
Made
one
it.
look at it, and that's all he needed.
Yeah,
Ja,
for sure.
Basel, probably already.
Yeah.
Nice to see that. Wishing them good luck for
That would be
tomorrow.
nice. Thanks.
These teams play each other all the time, so nice and friendly out there.
Ja,
But what a great game for us to watch this evening. Congratulations to Schwaller's team.
Okay. Jammer,
They are
boys.
now the fourth and final semi-final qualifiers. They did indeed get their 2 points with last stone.
nou.
And we have another data point for the endless discussion. This time, the team who was minus 1 point and did have last stone in the 8th end, they went on to win. We now have, therefore, all 4 semi-finalists line up for tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning European. Semi-final 1 is Joe Returnaz from Italy versus Yannick Schwaller from Switzerland. And listen to this, semi-final 2, Savannah Terenzoni versus Peter de Cruz. So let's all try and get some sleep, and we'll all be back here for 9 o'clock in the morning. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening for 4 super games. Some really exciting stuff out there, and I think tomorrow's semi-finals are going to be 2 crackers as well. So do set an alarm. I certainly will be. And do come and join us tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock European, and the 2 winners there will play off in the final at 1:30 European tomorrow afternoon. So thanks everyone for joining, and we'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.
Wir lieben die Bergwelt, das Wasser. Wir wie in Schnee. Die Gipfel wie die Täler, den Sturm wie die Stille. Die Menschen wie ihr Vermächtnis. In der Mitte des Berner Oberlands treffen sich alle. Und im Herzen des Berner Oberlands schaffen wir daraus gemeinsame Erinnerungen. Diese Bergwelt ist unsere Leidenschaft. Sie ist unsere Natur, sie innovativ mit der Welt zu teilen, unser Anspruch. Andere sagen Auszeit. Wir sagen Heimkehr.